Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto is banished and becomes a samurai. Before I start, please support for more amazing content, and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by M6L99 and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. A regal-looking young man no older than 19 years of age with long spiking blonde hair wearing a burnt orange sleeveless overcoat with black flame edging along the bottom of the coat. Under the coat he wore black samurai armor with light tone orange edging over a pair of grey pants and shirt. Staring at the rock garden, losing himself to peaceful moment, he fingered a green stone necklace he wore around his neck. 6 years. It had been 6 eventful years ever since his banishment from Konoha after nearly killing himself to bring back the last Uchiha Sasuke instead of a welcome back or even a thank you. His reward was scorn and banishment, the reason, releasing the nine-tailed fox's chakra and the attempted killing of the Uchiha, even if said Uchiha had transformed into monster with 2 giant hands like wings from that seal. The snake team and willingly using the damn thing to kill him. Now this didn't hurt him, he was glad to be away from the spiteful village. But what hurt him was that everyone he thought he could trust, everyone he thought was his friends and family, betrayed him. Tsunade had scalded him for the wounds Sasuke had received, despite being badly injured himself. With a hole the size of a fist in his chest, she didn't even finish healing him, stating the fox can repair the rest of the damages, and told him off on his stupidly. His sensei, Hatake Kakashi, who told him those who abandon their teammate are trash, had left him to rot. His teammates, Sakura, had shunned him. Sasuke rammed his lighting-infused hand into his chest, spoke volumes, as did the entire Rookie 9 team guy, and most of all, Irika, his big brother, and Jiraiya, his so-called godfather. The only one who never betrayed him was Hinata. In fact, she was at his side every moment up to the day he left, confessed her love to him only before his banishment. It still hurts him to know he could now never return her feelings. Shortly after he left, Tsunade had told the whole village of Naruto's dark secret, in the hope of making his friends see him as a hero. Had backfired. Now they see him as a threat that needed to be locked away or killed. So he was sure Hinata would hate him as well, but he wasn't sure after hearing what happened after he left to the western lands. When news of his banishment reached Waves Spring, soon every country and ninja villages he went to on missions, instead of damning him, they closed ranks behind him. Some even tried to find him and offered him a place within their nations or village. Unable to find him, the counties and hidden villages broke all agreements with Konoha and the Land of Fire. Suna and Waves threatened to return any Konoha ninja found trespassing on their lands in box with air holes, or in Suna's case a matchbox with Gaara's way in handling unwanted guests. Fire Demio was less than pleased with Konoha when word of Naruto's banishment reached him, followed by every treaty Fire had gained thanks to Naruto been torn up. Fire Demio knew who his mother and father were and owned them for saving his life once he believed Konoha would take care of Naruto, fox or no fox. It seems he had been far too trusting in Konoha, and having failed to check up on Naruto. Fire Demio may have been a bit flowfish at times. He was man of honor and felt the need to atone for his inaction and lost the face with the other Demios. After heading straight to the disgrace of Ninja Village with his bodyguards and army of samurai, he ordered Konoha not to send Herdanines after him, while he tore them a new asshole and slashed their funding to make up for the lost trade. Naruto soon realized how blind he was when he was out of the village for good. It was like the wool had been removed from his eyes. He could see clearly. Now, compared to popular belief, he wasn't the loud idiot he made himself out to be. It was a mask he wore, as a self-defense to use against the villagers who hurt him over the years. It even fooled him at times. Now he had no need for it, and so he was free. He also found out his heritage before his banishment. How? A small scroll that somehow mysteriously appeared in his apartment. He could remember how shocked he was to find out he was the son of the 4th Hokage, Konoha's Yellow Flash Namake's Minato, and red-hot-blooded habanero Uzumaki Kushina, and second host of the Nine Tails, who made the very seal that held the nine-tailed fox with their own blood and chakra. It strengthened his hatred towards Konoha. How much more had it kept from him? The old man Hokage's letter on how much he regrets on his mistake of informing the village about him and his father's last request to be seen as a hero, and how the village elders forayed him from giving him his heritage. They even wanted to make him a mindless weapon. It wouldn't have happened if that masked ninja hadn't kidnapped his mother, who held the fox and controlled Kyuubi to attack the village. The scroll also contained the family fortune and the scrolls of his father and mother, including the scrolls of the Uzumaki sealing arts, which now he is a master of. But he wasn't alone on his travels. The very demon inside of him was his closest friend. At first Kyuubi was still the rage-filled demon, which tired to get him to release the seals so it can wipe out Konoha. After butting heads with Kyuubi, reminding the fox that the Uzumaki never used him as a weapon like the other tailed beasts, Kyuubi learned to help him. Shockingly, Kyuubi was female instead of unsexed mass of chakra, or male because of Kyuubi's voice in her fox form. To the west of the known elemental countries, things were done much different in many aspects. Firstly, since the hidden wars hadn't gotten near these lands, the population was higher because there were no great wars to diminish human life. Also, the first hidden war saw the end of the samurai era, but only in the east. To the west, both ninja and samurai worked together to create a strong military force for which all the western countries used. Another difference was race of humans known as the Yoki humans with certain anatomical attributes that are considered normal, such as animal ears and tails. The West's outlooks on demons was very open compared to the East's. QB was somewhat ashamed to admit that she wasn't the most powerful beast or demon that walked the lands. There were demons that lived here in the West would make even her think twice in picking a fight with. Thankfully most of them were passive and didn't attack without a good reason to. Still, QB was feared and respected by the demons in the West. But lastly, the biggest difference was in fact a flaw of the western part of the continent. Unlike the East, after the last 3 hidden wars there was strong central governments that held power, such as the daimyos. The West was nearly a lawless and chaotic place. Local warlords and bandit kings rose up and took power away from the daimyos, leaving them powerless, and used their newfound power to terrorize and control the countries. Some warlords even sought to expand their power and declared war on other warlords, fighting over land and resources. While the wars were less frequent, it didn't mean they were less fierce. Many battles resulted in both sides losing many soldiers, samurai, and ninja that resulted in the death of one or both warlords participating in the fight. However, a sad fact, there would always be another warlord who would rise up and take the place of his predecessor. When he arrived in the West, he ran afoul with the local bandits, but a group of patrolling Roth clan ninjas saved his life, and when they were healing him they saw a spiral seal on his stomach and knew what he was. The Roth leader studied his seal and asked what was his clan name. Came as a shock, it was Uzumaki. In the past both clans had came across each other in the past, and then asked what was host to. He got ready to fight his out. QB was getting ready to aid her host but was dumbfounded when Roth didn't bat an eyelash at that. They were accepting in the fact of him being Jinchuriki to QB, and did not fear him because of it, but the children, the younger ones, wanted become Jinchuriki to get those kitty whiskers. Naruto face faulted at hearing that, and shot that idea down, saying he was born with them. This made many children to pout. After retelling his story, the clan leader welcomed him as a part of the clan, not for power he held but to show what felt it like to have a family. While surprising to many of the Roth clan and the joy to pair twins Naruto had befriended when he was healing, he was brought up to speed on what's going on in the West, and he didn't like what he heard. There were a few ninja and samurai clans who were neutral and powerful enough to warn away the more powerful warlords away from their lands, being too much trouble for little gain, but were too small to challenge the warlords' armies. The Hojo clan attempted to fight the warlords in open battle but were wiped out. The Roth clan fell into this grouping and were the largest clan in the local area. In the past they were trying to form a hidden village with other ninja clans. Even few samurai clans were interested. But after the Hojo's fall made many other neutral clans became hesitant in joining forces or shared their fate. The Roth clan and many others now were being harassed by minor warlords day and night to become their allies, or attacked by damned bandits who tried to enslave to outright massacring the whole clan and take all the loot and women from the village they protected. More than once the Roth clan leader Erla, who easily ranked Sanine herself, had to rescue one of her clan from bandits who were having their way with the usably a female Roth clan ninja, and was nicknamed Bandit Slayer. When he arrived it was getting worse. There had been talks of an all-out war between the major warlords that would make last 3 hidden wars in the East look like 3-year-old schoolyard fight. Naruto was at a loss. He wanted to help. QB remarked that she would be a lot more useful other than a power source, but without a host she would lose herself to her rage. Naruto gave that a thought, and bounced the idea to Erla. She did know a way using a blood clone and soul transferred, but she wasn't sure that it would work. She only studied those jutsus, so that idea was shelved. Besides, Naruto would die if QB was removed. Oddly, both clans seemed to have one half of Sanine of 6 Paths Fuinjutsu, and both Fuinjutsu styles were based of their part of Sanine of 6 Paths Fuinjutsu. Uzumaki used the swirl as the primary for their seals. Roth used characters as their primary for their seals. Both used the web-like array Sanine of 6 Paths made. Uzumaki arrays had raw power and need a large area to be placed. Roth arrays lacked power but had control and needed less space. When he and Roth leader tested both East and West types of exploding notes, while mocking each other on who had the better exploding notes, East or West, what happened? Both tags arrays seemingly combined before exploding with the force of 100 tags. They both nearly gotten killed from the shock wave and bit burnt, but were in awe at combined power. After going though every scroll on Fuinjutsu find out how the impossible became possible, and found the very jutsu to free the fox. It seemed the great Sanine of 6 Paths was working on a way to bind the 9 chakra beasts into living shells for them to live out their lifespan as living beings of flesh and blood, but the great sage was nearing the end of his life before he can use it. Naruto still doesn't think fate rules over life. He had a feeling that old Target Eyes had planned this from beyond the grave to make this happen. A lot of work went into the releasing of Kyubi from the seal with all of Kyudi's power intact, and keeping himself alive thanks to his mother's blood in his veins. His Uzumaki blood and blood of a fox Yoki was used to birth a shell to house Kyudi chakra. After being freed, Kyubi was no longer the semi-mindless beast and felt saddened for her hand in his parents' death, and apologies to him. She became the first of many allies. Kyubi acted like an older sister to him. After being freed, she vowed to be at his side instead of going after the masked man who was ID as Uchiha Madara, teaching him many useful things not just in the ways of ninja she learned when sealed inside the Sanine of 6 Paths, and she still can't do half the stuff the god of modern ninja did before he became the host for the 9-tailed beasts. But in the 3 lifetimes she had been sealed also learned many other aspects of life which she imparted to him along with Erla, Raven and Myra, so this came useful when he gained an ambition which would make him the most powerful ruler in the land. After learning about the West's problems, Naruto saw the lawlessness of the land, and together with Kyuubi, Uzumaki, Naruto vowed to unite the land, to bring peace to the Roth clan and the war-torn land in the West. He became first known throughout the land when he took on and killed one of the most dangerous warlords, the proclaimed and much feared Demon King, Oda Nobunaga. Nobunaga had been for pushing the Roth clan to allied with him for years after he became a major power in the region. Only reason he hadn't overran their territory yet, seeing as he respected Erla and clan skills, knowing he would lose a lot troops in wearing her and clan down. But with talk of all-out war between the major warlords, and was only a matter of time before Nobunaga would take care of any problems at his rear before going after the major warlords. Naruto had the battle scars to prove that Nobunaga rightfully earned the title of Demon King. Nobunaga fought like a demon. He even wielded the fabled sword, the blade of the Demon King, and wasn't even being controlled by the blade's aura like many others that held it. Kyuubi even remarked that Nobunaga's chakra was as dark and evil as Uchiha Madara's. But thankfully Naruto had trained hard for this and managed to gain a weapon that can match the blade of the Demon King, the legendary dragon sword, but it was still close. Naruto chuckled. Nobunaga's chakra was dark and evil, but he knew this land needed to be united under one leader. In his last breath, Nobunaga, with a smile on his face, proclaimed Naruto as the one to succeed and surpass him in his ambition, unite the land as Shogun of the West. Well, Nobunaga, you were right about me. Hope you're having a good time with Zabuza in hell, muttered Naruto, knowing those two. He'll bet that their running place, if the demons in hell didn't match up with their standards on what demons should be. Kit, the daimyos have arrived and are waiting for your arrival, spoke a red-haired woman. Thanks, Kyuubi, let's not keep them waiting, Naruto said, and walked with Kyuubi to the meeting room. Konoha Hokage Tower. Tsunade sighed. The kamis must have cursed Konoha after Naruto's banishment. Sasuke escaped to Oto. Every country where Naruto had missions broke off all trade and treaties they made with Konoha, and any ninjas from Konoha were treated as hostile invades. And because of the stupidity of the elders, Konoha, instead of fighting just Oto, now Iwa and Kumo, sided with Oto, and their allies Karataki and Suna were only allies in name and have abandoned Konoha in their time of need. Tsunade sat in her behind her desk with her fingers interlocked in front of her face, with Shizen beside her. Standing in front of her was the assembled team in which they would prove to be the salvation of Konoha. Kakashi Hatake, Kurina Yuhi, Kiba Inuzuka, Shino Aburame, Sakura Haruno, and Hinata Hyuga. Many of the selected group was of the former Rookie 9, and she picked each one for a different reason. Kakashi Hatake was a skilled jonin. With over 1,000 jutsu and the legendary Sharingan, he would be a formidable opponent to anyone they met. He was also sensei of the now-deceased Team 7, and knew the boy, Naruto Uzumaki, quite well. She secretly hoped that if they did encounter Naruto along the way, even though it was a slim chance, he would be able to convince him to return. Kurina Yuhi, the Genjusta mistress, would prove a valuable support by confusing the enemy with her illusions. She was also a last column of support for Hinata, so she was also valued for that reason. Kiba Inuzuka and his partner Akamaru were a deadly double team, and being the rank of Jonin also showed his skills. When she told everyone of Naruto's darkest secret, he was one of the first to turn against the blonde. Now she wished she had done it, as if they even got Naruto back, he would receive a less than warm welcome. Shino Aburame was also a very skilled jonin. Having been good at reconnaissance made him needed should they run into trouble. Sakura Haruno, the best medic nin ever to be produced, even in Tsunade's prime she couldn't achieve what her apprentice had done, so it was only natural that she takes this mission. Like Kiba, she despised Naruto, not for being a demon, but as danger that needed to be eliminated. Again, Tsunade wondered if it was a good idea to tell them about Naruto's dark secret. Finally, Hinata Hyuga was put on the team for a very special reason. While she was only a chunin, her diplomatic skills were second to none, so if the shogun was to decide not to aid the village, then Hinata would do her very best to persuade him to reconsider. She was the only one out of the Rookie 9 to miss Naruto, and finding out his secret only strengthened her love for the blonde. Love really is a special thing. The reason you are all here is because you all will be going to the Western Empire, and try and persuade the shogun of the West to aid us in this war. The assembled nin were surprised. They were going west. None of them had any knowledge of the lands, so this was a complete new adventure for them. Is the upcoming war with Oto, Iwa, and Kumo that bad? Asked Hinata. It is. We will lose this war. That is why you all have been entrusted with this mission, because of your skills. You must do everything you can to make him join the war as our ally, or we will lose this war. The future of Konoha hangs in the balance, so you must not fail. Tsunade spoke with a very rare seriousness, which made all present understand the situation better. They were to try and get the empire into the war, or Konoha would surely fall. The imperial city. The meeting was to deal with several financial problems in the southern area of the empire, which was considered to be the poorest of areas. Naruto had tried his hardest to bring money to those areas, and it was only now beginning to work, if only a slight difference. Naruto signed. Sometimes it was hard being the shogun, making important decisions which would affect the lives of millions in the empire. But he knew it was all worth it, for if he didn't unite the country, then it still would be divided and war-torn. Ak, what a long day, groaned Naruto, dropping his whole body onto a couch. Running an empire wasn't going to be easy even after 6 years. At least you don't have to mountains of paperwork to do, remarked Kyuubi, getting a laugh from Naruto. Good thing or I'll be gray and old by the time I finish one of old man Hokage daily workloads, said Naruto, as a maid placed some tea down for Kyuubi and himself. About Konoha, Kyuubi said it was a touchy subject for both. If she hated Konoha, she despised Orochimaru a lot more. I don't know if the old man was still alive I would have, but he isn't. I despised Orochimaru a lot, but revenge being the only reason for going to war is not good enough, sighed Naruto. A wise leader must put the people welfare before his own desires, said Kyuubi. I know, muttered Naruto. What about Hinata? It wouldn't be too hard for your elite ninja to kidnap her, Kyuubi thought out loud. No, I will not force her away from her home and life. Besides, she must hate me, the demon brat. Besides, you're the one who shouldn't give tips on love, seeing your own fan club like that imp and his group singing imps that kept half the city awake as they sing his love for you off key. I might add, Kyuubi face turned as red as her hair when he reminded her of that. But if she still loves you, asked Kyuubi. She was classed as a fox yoki by the ever-moody and dull-toned dragon warlord, and more than one human yoki oni, or just plain demon kind, tried to woo her, even forced her to be their mate. She was flattered at the wing attempts like that orge who laid a dead cow at her feet, showing her he can provide for her. The singing imps was still the talk of the city. Those who tried to make her their mate found out that why she was the fear Kyuubi who level mountains with a swish of her nine tail before Naruto got his hands on them, being a overprotected little brother. He sighed. Still, in some ways Konoha was his old home, even though it really didn't act like one. And there was Hinata. She would surely die if Konoha fell. He admitted that he still held feeling for her. But how did she feel about him? Suddenly he remembered the late Sarutobi's speech about the will of fire, and in many ways he had to thank the old man for being the family he never had. In fact, if he were still alive he would have gone and supported Konoha, because he was one of the few who treated him like a human, like Hinata. He was brought out of his thoughts when he felt a presence near him. Turning, he could see one of his servants waiting at the door. Pardon me, your majesty, but there is a lady waiting to see you in the guest lounge, he spoke. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Who could it be? Did she say who her name was? The servant looked deep in thought as he tried to remember her name. Upon seeing so many guests all the time it was hard to remember all their names. Then it suddenly came to him. Ah yes, now I remember. She said her name was Yuki Fujikaze. Well then I shall not keep her ladyship waiting, said Naruto, feeling this week was going to be good. A week pasted. The size of the wall dwarfed Konoha's own walls easily as the team from Konoha stood in awe as they appeared in front of the gates to the capital city of the Western Empire, and a week after they crossed the border to the west. Kakashi turned to the others. Okay, take off your headbands and take out your false identity cards and papers. We must not tell them we are from Konoha, or they could get the wrong idea. The other nodded, understanding the situation, and did as they were told. Kakashi even took off his face mask, which came to a shock at the others. Finally they would see his face. He turned to them. What? He asked, wearing large fake bread that still hid his face. The others just shook it off, while put a simple headband on to cover his Sharingan eye. After getting ready, they started to walk down to the main gate but saw a lot of military unit using the main gate. The civilian travelers were using smaller, more defendable sub-gates that can be quickly closed or blocked off in case of siege. Upon arriving they were stopped by 2 guards on duty. The team surprised they were samurai. Only the Land of Iron still used samurai as their main military force in the east, and well trained at the stances they took. This easily showed them that in this part of the continent, being a samurai wasn't out of fashion, unlike the east. Halt! Please state your business here. The guard who spoke was easily seen as a veteran due to his age. The other looked only to be in his late 20s. Kakashi took the lead. Hello, we are a group of tourists from the east. The Jonin replied. We came to see the empire sites, as they were told to be quite exquisite. At this both samurai laughed. Well, I have to say we get a lot of tourists in the empire, he explained. If I had to recommend a site it would be Rear Temple, a few miles from the imperial city. If you're lucky, you may get to see a real, live dragon, said the younger samurai. At this the Konoha nin looked shocked. A real dragon? The guards laughed again as they saw the looks on their faces. Yes, real dragons. Most of them live in the mountains, but a few do live near the temple because of the natural hot springs. They're harmless if you don't bother them, but it's a good thing you tourists came here. When you did, you'd get to see the Shogun summon the 5 elemental dragons for the empire's founding day celebrations. Shogun has some mighty allies under his command, younger samurai remarked. Sakura saw the perfect chance to ask some questions about the Shogun. Speaking of the Shogun, what is he like? She asked, making herself sound like as excited as possible. I have to say he is by far the best ruler ever to come across the western continent. We are truly blessed by Kami, the guard started. He loves his people dearly, and tries not to retort to force, only seeing it as a last resort. And he's truly a charismatic individual. In fact, many of the wars he fought was with words, and not swords. When he did fight he was a force of nature. He became known after he fought and killed one of the most powerful warlords in the west, the Demon King, Oda Nobunaga. If he didn't, Nobunaga would have been ruling the empire, the samurai said. I heard of Nobunaga, he was merciless as he was powerful, spoke Shino. I am guessing the Shogun was more powerful. Either way, he won them all. I used to follow the banner of Takeda's Shinjin. He is one of the more honorable warlords. Everyone, though there was going to be a battle, but the Shogun came under a white flag and talked with him, and Lord Shinjin swore his loyalty to the young man. But he is not the type of person you want to cross if you anger him, many less than honorable warlords found out, which would be a feat all on its own, because if you do then his vengeance is swift. Luckily that rarely happens. Also, he is only 19 years old, and he manages to rule the empire with great wisdom. Mind you, I think his companion has something to do with that. Kiba raised a brow. Companion? Asked Kiba. Hinata was hoping the companion had blonde hair, blue eyes and whisker mark on his cheeks. A red-haired beauty, she was always at his side be it in battle or not, and I know for a fact isn't human, but a demon. I saw her transform from a beast to human, Etwell said. Younger samurai. Hinata's hope fell. Hearing this, Konoha need stiffen up. Did the Shogun command demons, or is the Shogun was a puppet of a demon? The older samurai saw the tourist uneasiness. The West had a lot contact with demons and other kinds of spirits. Not all of them were evil, and having a lot of priests and priestess to purify the ones that did. Even the warlord didn't bother demons along with the well-known ones, but those that did met their end from a curse or claws of one. It's better to have a powerful demon neutral to you than having one as an enemy. No one knows if she be a demon or Oni, but the look in her, I tell anyone that she has been around for a long time. The Shogun seems to trust her a lot, being one of his personal advisors, and help the Shogun with problems. So far she hasn't steered him wrong yet. Will we be able to see him? Hinata spoke, trying not to stutter. Well, he does hold public speeches once a month, talking about the current events that are usually important. In fact, the speech that was on some days ago was the speech of the anniversary of the Empire's unification. I have to stress he is a very good public speaker, able to capture the crowd's attention with just his words. But if want to try and see him on a one-to-one, I think that won't happen. Kakashi frowned slightly. It would be difficult to get an audience with the Shogun. Do you know where we can get a map of the city, so we know where we are going? At this, the younger guard reached into his pocket and pulled out a folded map, which he gave to Kakashi. He thanked him for the item. You need it. The city is a maze after being lay siege and rebuilt after many years by one invading warlord after another. The Shogun's first act was to rebuild city bottom up, tearing down the older buildings and restoring the city's landmarks, making it safer. The people welfare came first before the palace was built. For a good 2 years Shogun lived inside a massive tent in the middle of where the foundation for the palace would be laid. He won the people over by making sure every family got a roof over their heads. In gratitude, the people began working on the palace, making it bigger than it was supposed to be. But there's still a lot of the city still has closed off sections where rebuilding hasn't been started yet. So many criminals hide out in the ruins, so if you see warning signs, turn the other way fast if you value life. This made some of the group nervous. Now before I can let you in, can we see some ID? Asked the elder samurai. The team pulled out their fake ID cards and showed them to the guards. A column of troops marched out from the main gate alongside their gate. Security's tight, going to have a war or something, Kiba commented, before being silenced by a glare from Kurenai. The old man sighed. Yes, it has to be, he said, gathering their attention. With that war that's going on in the east, that it could spill into the west. The fear of that happening. Shogun recalled the 4 warlords from their home provinces in case it does, and placing all combat-ready clans in the eastern region high alert. The Shogun really doesn't want to get involved in this war for some reason. Maybe it's because he wants to protect his people from a war that is not ours to fight. Suddenly for the team, it felt that getting the Shogun to join forces with Konoha had just gotten harder. My brother got shipped out last week to the forts because of this, said the younger. A shadow moved with a life of its own away from the group. It had followed them for over a week, having after passing the broader. Finally, the gates opened, and they were let into the city. But with all this happening, not one of them noticed that not far from their current position from the shadow emerged a robed, hooded figure. The Shogun must be informed about this, thought the figure, and submerged back into the shadows. Naruto smiled at Yuki as he poured her another drink of red wine. After the mission to Spring Country, the two had remained good friends. Yuki went as far as to cut all ties with Konoha when Naruto got banished, causing a huge blow for the village. When Naruto became Shogun, Yuki was the first to find out his identity, and visited him regularly when she had some free time of being the daimyo. She was one of the few people outside the empire he could fully trust with his feelings, and had his complete trust. You know, I still cannot believe you want to star in Jiraiya's Ika Ika movie. At this, Yuki laughed. Well, I thought it would be an interesting experience. Naruto smiled as he took a sip of his wine. Ika Ika was very popular in the West as it been in the East. You don't know how much of an experience you are going to get, Yuki-chan. She blushed at the comment made by the blonde. Naruto's smile only got bigger as he saw the look on her face. A knock on the door unexpectedly interrupted the two. Naruto turned his head to the door. Enter, he shouted, and with a silent creak the door opened, revealing a dark-robed figure with a hood. Naruto smiled, but noted figure wasn't here to see him and say hi but to report as a ninja of the Empire. His face suddenly turned serious. My lord, spoke a ninja. What is your report? Asked Naruto. A group of ninja have entered the city in secret. They appeared to be from Konoha. I trailed them from border to this very city. Spoke the robed person, now identified as a woman. They removed their headbands and used forged documents and IDs to enter. From what I overheard, they wanted to seek the Shogun help for their war. Naruto's eyes widened and narrowed. Bring them here. I want to ask them personally what the hell they are doing here in my lands. And have Kyubi greet them in her fox form. At once spoke the robed female as she left. Yuki looked worried. It looks like I will be facing my past, said Naruto as he puts on his coat. The team from Konoha tried very hard to navigate through the busy streets. Thanks to the map the guard gave them, they would be able to find a hotel in which they could stay for the night, as tried to seek an audience with the emperor. As they walked past, they saw that much of this place wasn't much different from Konoha, as they saw similar shops and people wearing similar clothing. What they did find different though was from time to time, they would pass a two-squad patrol that consisted of armored samurai and ninjas. The East version of ANBU by his guests noting their outfits and masks as he watched them hopping from the rooftops or perch on a pole. Kakashi had to admit, the only reason why the samurai had died in the East was because of a quick change, and that change can easily have an opposite if another shinobi war took place. Sakura noted there was a few people that made her do a double take like think they tails or animal ears. A few people that they passed Sakura swore they were wings on the four, but thought it as Western tastes and style. Akamaru didn't like the crowded streets, which could be easily told by his whining. Must because of the small room available, and by the stairs because of his size. Kiba did his best to comfort his canine companion. So Kakashi, do you know where we are going? Kurenai asked. Kakashi turned his head to face her. Yes, all we need to do is to turn right at the next corner, then we will be at our destination, the Jonin replied. Kurenai suddenly felt fast movement, and quickly stepped around. Kakashi stopped, gathering the other members' attention. Kurenai saw samurai making their way though the crowds looking for someone. A samurai locked eyes with hers before waving the other samurai over. What's wrong, senpai? Sakura asked. She got her answer when she saw a group of samurai run towards them as the rooftops became crowded by ninjas cutting off escape routes. Stop right there! One of them yelled. The Konoha team got into a defensive stance. All around them the civilians tried to get away from the scene, making a large circle around them. The samurai encircled the group, katanas drawn. Kiba growled, and was about to charge, but a hand from Sakura stopped him. No, if you attack, it could make matters worse, she pleaded. Kiba understood, and decided not to attack. They were here for an alliance, not to make war. A roar deafens everyone as something caused people up ahead to move out of the way, making a wide path. Clear the way, shouted a man as a large paw followed by another moved past him. The Konoha group blood froze as they saw a large red-furred fox prowl between the buildings, mind full of the humans underfoot. When the fox stopped waiting for a mother, pulled her child out of the way, then move along, the terror of Konoha, neared the Konoha nins and stopped before them after the samurai surround them. The fox's 9 tails waved back and forth as the fox's eyes glared at the ninjas, making them sweat a little. In turn made the fox to grin with its fangs, a hooded person, most likely a trained ninja from the way the person leaps down from Kyubi's head with ease. Kyubi, Sakura muttered. How was this possible? The fox burst into flames, and as quickly as it appeared, it died down, revealing a tall, beautiful red-haired woman wearing a blood-red battle dress that hugged her every curve. Her legs were clad in long black leg stockings with the heels and toes bared, as the woman had sharp claws on her toes and fingers. Her cheeks had 6 whisker marks like Naruto's, but longer and darker. What really made her stand out, besides being a giant fox, was her blood-red silted eyes. Kyubi rolled her shoulders, feeling a bit stiff having used her tailed beast form after having not used in a while. Why is Kyubi-sama here? Whispered someone from the crowd. It seemed Kyubi was a very important person in the West. They must be dangerous for the Shogun to send her to face them. Some of the people with children decided to leave to spare their kids from seeing a lot of blood being spilt. Kyubi smirked in her mind, having made a reputation in the West other than being the feared 9-tailed demon fox like in the East, as the same robed ninja walked behind her. Is them, spoke the robed ninja. It seems I am cursed to be forever running into Konoha, ninja muttered Kyubi, rolling her left shoulder to get a kink out as she advanced them like they were prey. Walking up to them, her red silted eye looked at each of them but blinked at Hinata before going back to the rest. She sneered, just like Konoha to just walk into places uninvited. As if they owned the place. Though her voice was soft, the tone was harsh. Kiba was the first to recover, and retorted. Drop the henge no jutsu, Kyubi, or should I say Naruto, you're not fooling us. The crowd started to murmur. What is he talking about? Making Kyubi growled in annoyance. This boy was a fool. How dare you speak to Lady Kyubi in such a matter, shouted the now female robed ninja. Why the hell are you defending that monster, shouted Kiba's, causing the samurai to get annoyed. The robed ninja would have stabbed a kunai into Kiba's forehead for his disrespect, but Kyubi raised her hand. I'll deal with this. I'm more than willing to correct him on his matters. The robed ninja nodded and backs down, as did the samurai. I'm so going to enjoy this, said Kyubi, moving towards the Konoha team. Kiba gulped as Naruto started to crack his knuckles with an evil grin. The demon fox had been well known to have before dealing out painful and bloody death. Kyubi grabbed the front of Kiba's coat and lifted the young man easy and reared back her right arm and punched him hard in the face. Did that feel like henge to you much? Your dog seems to know better. Akamaru whimpered and backed away. I am Kyubi, she growled as she throws Kiba down to the ground. Kiba tried to get back up, but Kyubi put her stocking-covered foot on his chest, keeping him pinned to ground with little effort. On Kiba part felt like his chest was nearly being crushed. Locking her eyes to his as she looked down a bit with both hands on her hip. Let me tell you this once, inbred fool. Naruto and I are completely separate entities. Don't get the jailer mixed up with the prisoner, she said, looking at Kiba like he was a bug to be crushed under her foot. On her part he was a bug. On Kiba's part he was in shock. It wasn't a henge. Wasn't Naruto the Kyubi? The demon signed in what seemed to be boredom. I'm taking you all to see the Shogun, and he is not pleased, said Kyubi, causing everyone to have a bad feeling in their guts. Turning to the robed ninja at her side. Could you open us a portal to the palace? She asked. The ninja complied by going through 8 hand seals and using 2 fingers slashed at the air, summoning a large shadow rift for them to travel through. Now would you like to move under your own power, or shall we? Well, I'll leave the rest to your imagination. Kakashi nodded to his team. They would go quietly. They were, after all, uninvited guests in another land, and she was Kyubi. Without any force they walked through the portal, the Kyubi with ninja and samurai in tow. They could only stare in awe at the sight they gazed upon after exiting the rift. The architecture of the palace was nothing they ever saw before. It truly was fit for the Shogun. The building easily overshadowed nearly every other in the whole city. It was that large. Take a long break, you idiot, said Kyubi as she turned. In a bath you smell a bit, right? Kyubi said as she rubbed her nose. Your normal room is ready. The robed ninja removed her hood to show a very beautiful young woman with short purple hair and light ash color skin with deep purple eyes and a black and red tattoo on her forehead. Scowls at the fox woman. You would too, after trailing that lot for over a week, and tell the Shogun my mother and sister will arrive within the week, and the Roth clan misses both you and your former host, spoke the woman before she shunned Shin no Jutsu, using shadows that coil around her before sinking to nothingness. The Konoha team was a bit shocked that they were followed and unable to detect her or the young woman was seemingly friends with Kyubi. Let get going, I would hate to anger the Shogun any more than he is now, said Kyubi before moving the group along. Everyone noted that there are a lot of branders, all of them one of 5 types. 1 is dark red with a styled fox spiral in black. 2 is brighter shape of red with hanabishi, 3 vertical flowers, characters for tiger and furinkazan in gold. 3 is white with 2 flying swallows in bamboo with the characters of Bishamontan and dragon all black. 4 is blue with a circle around 3 hollyhock leaves in white and the character for turtle. 5 white, 2 cranes bowing their heads together over a centipede and the characters for rebirth and fire all printed in red. Must be Shoguns and the 4 warlords' banners, Sakura thought out loud. Kyubi turned to the ninjas. I don't know what your purpose is for coming here, but I can take a wild guess and say you're trying to kill the Shogun based on your less than open entry into the city, but I highly doubted it just by judging your team, she said. It like it was a threat and an insult. But I should warn you know that His Majesty is not happy with your little infiltration of his land, she spoke with a serious tone. The large gates in front of them opened, allowing them entry into the palace. Kyubi? The demon turned his head to see the Hyuga. MH to Kyubi was plenty surprised that Hinata's eyes held little fear, and could only chuckle in response. Could I ask why someone such as yourself would serve the Shogun? And ISIS Naruto with him. I have my reasons, dear Hinata. As for Naruto, he is alive, but to where he is right now, which you will see soon enough. The ninja made their own conclusion. Whoever was the Shogun was powerful enough to gain a demon like Kyubi as his ally, and most likely Naruto was really close to the Shogun. They also knew that if they ever did go to war with the Empire, to capture Kyubi they would easily lose. The interior had a mix of old and new but wasn't overly decorated but simple. No doubt years of war made practicality the rule of the wise, something many hidden villages have forgotten. Finally they came to a pair of decorated doors, a guard on each side. Kyubi nodded to the guards, who saluted in response. His Majesty is waiting inside, Kyubi-sama. Kyubi nodded, and turned to the Konoha team, both hands behind her back. I would advise you to watch your mouths and any attack will be dealt with. She raised her right hand showing her partly curled fingers topped with deadly-looking claws, deadly force. The threat was more directed at Kiba and Sakura more than anyone else, much to their confusion. The doors were opened, and they slowly walked through. What they laid eyes upon was a grand hall. At the very end of the hall stands the ruler of an empire. A man with his back turned to them. Everyone noted the long mane of spiky blonde hair, dressed much like samurai, and the symbol on his coat matched the fox banner. He both hands clasped together as he looked at the city through the large window that dominated the end of the grand hall. Even now Konoha seems to scorn my existence, the figure spoke, his voice filled with venom as the man turned to face them. Hinata's eyes lit up like the sun. Maybe her prayers would come true and he would save her from her fate. It can't be, Sakura muttered to herself, deep in distress on who the Shogun was. Kakashi finally managed to regain his voice, but still only able to say a single word. Naruto. Surprised Kakashi and Beno to make the impossible possible, said Naruto with a grin before releasing Demoic level of Ki. Now why the hell you trash doing in my empire? Kyubi showed him how to produce that kind of Ki. Gulping, Kakashi stepped forward. We have come on the behalf of Konoha for the Empire's aid in a war. I'm well aware of Konoha plight, but why should I even care, stated Naruto. The entire group was stopped. But Konoha was you, started Sakura, but Naruto's cold gaze locked onto her, making a cold shiver run down her spine. Konoha is not my home. I was never welcomed there after both of my parents gave up their lives to seal Kyubi inside me. I sacrifice and bleed for an ungrateful village. I nearly died 3 times in doing my duty, but did I even gotta thank you? No, I was still shunned. Only handful people were there for me, but even they had turned their backs to me save one person stand by me. You know I can and willingly invade Konoha and it level to dust just for revenge, said Naruto, but I'm not going to be like Orochimaru. Thought I have many good reasons. I'm a better human being than him. The entire group felt a cold pit of fear in their stomach. This was not the same Naruto from 6 years ago. The guards and even Kyubi winced at the tone. Naruto had a lifetime of pent-up anger, and she was the embodiment of rage, was saying something about how angry Naruto was. She sighed seeing the Hyuga girl in tears. Kyubi knew he had to be hard as Shogun, and giving him a Naruto tone-it-down look. Kurenai stepped up seeing Kakashi had given up everything Naruto had said was truth. Kurenai saw Hinata was too broken to be of help. She had to salvage the mission for the village of Sake. I'm sure Konoha has something to offer that might interest your empire, spoke Kurenai, sweating a little as the former village pariah now turned powerful ruler of an empire. In under 6 years, and lock those cold eyes onto her. Think about what her father wanted her to become, a woman, and a mother. She hadn't become a mother yet. If the Shogun had her killed before that happens. I highly doubted that. Yahi Naruto tone made Kurenai flinched. Western ninja are battle-hardened after years of war and developed jutsus and bloodlines that surpass anything from Konoha, and I trust a D-rank jutsu from them to a S-rank jutsu from Konoha. Naruto turned his back to them. Here's what I think, he thought out loud before he looks at them. I see a village full of trash whose blind arrogance has now dug its own grave begging for someone to save it, said Naruto. His eyes softened when he looked into her eyes, but as Shogun he wasn't able to be soft right now. I'm sorry Hinata, but I'll make it up to you later, Naruto thought. Naruto turned his back to them again. The Empire of the West will not aid Konoha. I will not waste valuable resources and manpower in a war that doesn't involve my empire, so tell that dunk old bitch that the Empire's answer to Konoha's begging is no. The Konoha team were stunned. Hinata was in tears thinking that Naruto hate her too. Sakura tired to speak but nothing came out. I will have you killed if you try entering my land like spies again. For your trespassing you spend the night in the dungeons, and escorted the day after out of my land's guards. Take them away, ordered Naruto. As the guards dragged his former friends and possible lover to the nice dark and damp dungeons, No saw the tears in Naruto's eyes. Having retired to his study, Naruto sighed. He really hated being a hard-ass teammate came with the job of Shogun, and hated himself more for doing that to Hinata. Turning to the door, knowing only the servants knocked, he wasn't too surprised when the door opened without a knock. Naruto spoke. The young woman dressed in a dark blue robe with a white wrap around her waist. Behind her was Kyubi. Oh hi Raven, you look great. How's sis and mom been doing, said Naruto, when he had been healing. Got to know center members the Roth clan like the clan leader Roth, Erla and her twin daughters Raven and Maria. They didn't care if he was a host for a feared-tailed beast and sort of treated him like a part of their family. The Roth clan wanted peace and started to form a hidden village like the ones in the east to be a counter to the warlords and keep them in check, but after the Hojo's fall at the hands of the Demon King, the clans that were willing to join forces pulled out, not wanting to incur his or the other warlords' wrath down on their heads. When Naruto began his campaign to bring about end to the warring states, Erla the Roth followed Naruto at the beginning. Erla had the feeling Naruto would not only change the West but the world. She was proven right when he fought Nobunaga, who had the same drive to unite the land, but his heavy-handed tactics like killing Solders who surrender without mercy had prolonged the bloodshed, and Roth would have to fight him and would have lost. After the western lands became the Empire of the West, the Roth and many ninja clans served as the Empire's shadow ninjas who watched from the shadows for enemies. When in war, ninja clans and samurai clans became the core of the Grand Army. All four warlords believed if the entire army gathered in one area and started marching as one, their footfalls would cause earthquakes. Naruto was shaken out of his thoughts as he noted the look on the woman's face, and only one thought ran in his head. Oh snap, she not happy as Raven was about to unleash her most deadliness's weapon, her razor-sharp sarcasm. Instead of bowing, Raven was going to be very frank with Naruto and let it be known. So let me get this straight, you sent your possible one true love to the dungeons. Tick, you really know how to treat a girl. Raven stated she was top form today. Sarcasm was sharp as a Kanata sword. I know, bemoaned Naruto, and hung his head. I will make it up to her, Naruto declared. Like make up or like make out? Shut up, Kyubi, yelled Naruto. It was his turn to blush. Kyubi laughter echoed throughout the room. Good, she hasn't had it easy after your banishment, and her life has taken a turn for the worse, spoke Raven. While trailing the Konoha team, she overheard Hinata talk to that red-eyed woman about being branded and an arranged marriage to the son, one that has a lot of power, and wished Naruto would return. What? She's not sick, is she? Naruto said, then smacked himself in the face, always thinking that she was sick. Kyubi dragged her hand down her face and groaned. He may be older, wiser and smarter, but Naruto's was still thick in the head at times. Raven felt for the girl after hearing her problem, and her ever-lovable Shogun needed a kick in the pants. She in good heath. I overheard her talking to that woman with red eyes. It seems she has a few major problems. What kind of problems? asked Naruto, but Raven shakes her head. Kyubi knew the Hyuga clan hated her, and Naruto added Hinata dislike of outdated traditions, and her feelings for Naruto wouldn't go too well with the rest, but like Raven wouldn't speak of it. It's not my place to tell her story, she has to do it, said Raven, not wanting to overly upset Naruto soon after his outburst early. It may be nothing, but I felt you should know. Shall I retrieve Lady Hinata? asked Raven. Please, and escort her to my room, asked Naruto, grateful that his sister gave him a good kick in the right direction. I want to talk to her. We have a lot of time to make up. Most likely making out and doing it, remarked Kyubi with a fox-like grin, as Naruto glared at the fox woman. Raven wisely got out of the room to spare her ears from the loud noise that was coming. Shut up, Kyubi boomed throughout the palace. It had been only several hours since they were thrown into the dark prisons under the palace. But to the team from Konoha, it seemed like an eternity. Not a single word was spoken, as none could get over the fact that Naruto had not only rejected their plea for help, but also threatened them with death. Sakura was hugging her knees, muttering unheard apologies to her former teammate, the teammate she betrayed. Kiba just sat quietly. Looking lifeless as he stared at the wall, his partner was muzzled and had been chained to the wall at his neck by the guards, not wanting to take risks. With such a large mean dog, Kakashi had tears down his face, finally realizing how stupid he had been to abandon Naruto on so many occasions. Shino, like Kiba, just sat quietly on the ground, keeping to himself with the odd Fuin note on his chest placed by the guards knowing about his colony held the queen in a forced sleep genjutsu, leavening the colony paralyzed. Kurenai was trying desperately to comfort Hinata, who at this moment in time believed Naruto hated her after the way she was treated. She was going to marry that man her very own clan had chosen. She was going to be shipped out on her return Konoha with several other women men and the elders to preserve the Hyuga clan in case Konoha is destroyed. It didn't comfort her that a few of the elders were looking at her with lust and wouldn't put it past them to sample her. You know, we are the reason why Naruto has turned out like this, Kurenai spoke, finally breaking the silence. Kakashi turned to her. But he is, after all, Konoha's most unpredictable ninja. Kakashi did a haunting laugh at the comment. He isn't Konoha's ninja anymore, Kurenai, he replied, and it's all Konoha's fault on the whole. We left him. We abandoned him. The genjutsu mistress signed in displeasure. Mind you, only Naruto could perform a miracle like this. To unite a war-torn land in such a short time, and turn it into the most powerful country on the continent. That truly is a great feat, Kurenai stated, impressed by how Naruto had managed to make a powerful ruler. Thinking about it, he really would make a great Hokage if he was given the chance. Not only that, he also has the Kyuubi under his command, and the people themselves look ready to die for him if he asked. Loyalties like that is something we shouldn't take lightly, Shino spoke, and both older ninja couldn't help but nod in agreement. Because he gave them something many haven't known in their entire lifetimes. He gave them peace, said Sakura. She read up on the history of the Western nations the wars fought here became known as the Warring States era. Suddenly they heard a roar in anger, and turned to see Kiba standing up and punch the wall, hard enough to cause his knuckles to bleed. One of the guards looked in on them, hearing the racket, and seeing Kiba bleeding, Knuckles throws a roll of bandages at him, telling Kiba not to get blood on his nice clean dungeon floor before going back to the poker game going on a few cells away. Damn, I haven't felt this bad in all my life, he growled out, as he wraps his hand. I mean, I thought he was the Kyuubi, that was what my mom said after Naruto's secret got out. But after seeing both of them at the same time, and seeing how she was holding back when she punched me, damn it, Kiba collapsed to the ground. Kyuubi punch could have easily smashed his head like an overly ripened melon. Kiba, we made him this way, Sakura managed to say, still upset by what had happened. It's all our fault. I used to blame him for bringing Sasuke, I meant Sasuke, back like he did, but now I realized he had no other choice. And I didn't see that because I was blinded by the fear of what he contained. Looking at her former teammate, hatred in his eyes, did she finally realize what she had done to him? She also realized how she never treated him with kindness, only with her fists. Now she wished that she could go back in time and be there for Naruto for all those years. Sakura had an idea, maybe she can indirectly make it up to Naruto. Until now, thinking back to their meeting with him, whenever he gazed at Hinata his eyes became less cold. Hinata didn't say anything in the conversation, as she was still trying to pull herself together after the incident with Naruto. She wished now that she had confessed to him much earlier, and cursed her shyness. She also wished that she went with Naruto, but she knew if she did that, then her father would not stand for it. She now believed that he hated her like all the rest. She was brought out of her thoughts by a comforting voice. Hey Hinata, she looked up to see Sakura smiling down at her. Don't be upset, I'm sure Naruto doesn't hate you. You are the only one who stayed by him, remember? Hinata wiped her tearful eyes. He's got no reason to hate you. I'm sure the glares he gave was directed at us. He said only one person was at his side and didn't hate. That was you, so don't be so hard on yourself. I would say that he still cares deeply about you. Hinata smiled at Sakura's gentle words. She now felt reassured. Pinky, there's right, spoke a voice. Everyone was looking at Raven, who was leaning against the cell door. They recognized the same woman who was with Kyuubi, and unknown to them trailed from the border to the capital. The Shogun would like to see you, Hyuga Hinata, and offers his deep-felt apologies to you as well for his harsh words. Lady Hinata, at the time the Shogun was not able to single you out from the other spies. Everyone flinched at the word spies. Using fake IDs and papers wasn't good idea as it had been earlier. This was a shock to Hinata. Naruto wanted to see her. Maybe Sakura was right. Hinata got up and quickly walked to the cell door. Raven motioned for the guard to unlock the cell door. The guard unlocked the door and allowed Hinata to get out, before closing and locking it again. How do you keep yourself from being detected? Asked Kakashi. It was bugging him. How did this Western ninja manage to remain hidden for so long? Raven stopped and turned her head. Looks at Kakashi. A ninja always find ways, spoke Raven, and Kakashi felt a kunai against his face held by a pale gray hand that seemingly came from his own shadow. The hand retracted as Raven pulled her hand, still holding the kunai, from the sleeve of the robe she wore. The Nara never had such control over shadows. Refined though constant war, Western ninja jutsu surpass any jutsu and bloodlines from Konoha, stated Naruto. Thought everyone as Raven escorted Hinata to Naruto. It's like a sleeping dragon, muttered Sakura. Anyone who faces the Empire of the West would face a well-trained and war-hardened army. Now the only way for Empire of the West to even get involved is if Iwa Kumo and Oto tried something with the Empire of the West and pissed off Naruto to the point of him bringing the might of the Empire he forged down on them. No, was that stupid, right? Right. In Oto Orochimaru meets with Reikiji and Tsuchikage Onoki to finish up the plans of the invasion of Fire Country and Konoha. It has come to my knowledge that Konoha has sent a delegation to the Empire of the West, and giving you my trustworthy allies. Both Ei and Onoki snort at the allies' part. They didn't trust the Sannin as much as they can bench press the QB. Some early boons to you both. Like what, I'm not eager to fight the Empire of the West, let alone have it side with Konoha. It better be good, stated Ei. I hated agree with Ei, but what would make Iwa and Kumo provoke the Empire of the West, remarked Onoki. I highly doubt the Empire of the West is as stable as rumored. Most likely rebellions are all over the western land, knowing those fools have been fighting each other for years. Beside, it would be worth getting a Hyuga female and the son of the White Fawn. Both Kages stare at Orochimaru. Kumo still wanted to gain the Byakugan and revenge Aegis their lost in Kumo early war with Konoha. Ei himself reforged the shattered remains of Kumo ninjas into the fearsome force it once was. Iwa wanted revenge Aegis the fourth Hokage, but Onoki had a vendetta Aegis the man. Much of his family had died at the yellow flash of Konoha. Hands only himself and his heir and granddaughter Kuratsuchi were all that remained of his clan. Getting the last student of the fourth, he already got one back in Iwa. Using her skills for Iwa benefit. After the Toad Sannin dies, Onoki can die in peace knowing that the fourth Tem's legacy was going to be much like his team's son, who was rotting in some unmarked grave after being brandished. With our combined forces we can remove a potential threat by showing this Shogun of the West his empire is nothing to the power of the hidden villages and strike a blow to Konoha, said Orochimaru, not telling them about several powerful items and weapons in the Shogun hands, as such items would be of better use by him than gathering dust like on that weak wood leader's mantle, the legendary dragon sword and the 5 elemental dragons summoning orbs, to the now dead Demon King very own demon-made weapon, the blade of the Demon King, just to name the cream of the crop, and that's not counting the jutsus his dear Sasuke and his priceless Sharingan can copy, along with many bloodlines he can study. Orochimaru had put off using Sasuke body so he can make it more impressed. Pity Sasuke never used those 2 girls he gave Sasuke to have some Uchiha children after their uses in the Chunin invasion, and Sasuke first retrieval were finished. He was surprised they were alive after all that. In another part of Oto, Sasuke had finished using both slaves as punching bags after one spilt food all over him, while the other was being a useless cripple, and he really hated her reddish pink hair. Watching Sasuke leave both Kin and Taiya huddled together, knowing the only good thing left in their lives now was each other. If either one dies, the other would kill herself, then stay alive in hell without the other. The Imperial Palace. Both young women walked towards the Shogun's private rooms. Hinata stopped. She was reminded even if she wanted stay, the seal on her forehead caged her right to choose. I'm sorry, B, but I wish to return to the cell, spoke Hinata, not waiting for Raven to respond. Hinata turned around back to the dungeon. Oh no, you don't, Missy, you're not running away now, thought Raven. Hinata felt a hand grabbing her wrist. She was unprepared to be spun around and pinned to the wall by Raven, who had one hand hold both of her wrists, Aegis her chest, the other brushed aside the hair on her forehead that hide the birdcage seal hidden from everyone. Only Kurenai knew. I know everything, spoke Raven, making Hinata eyes widen before tearing up. Then you know I can't stay. I wouldn't hurt Naruto. I love him so much. He should forget about me. It's my fate to be unhappy and unloved. Hinata's lower lip trembled. I don't hear this, Mark ordering you around. Will it cause you pain if you speak your mind and I don't see other Hyuga around? You're only hurting yourself and Naruto, stated Raven. Think with you heart, and not this head stain, Mark. Raven said, and releases Hinata. Hinata stared at Raven, who turns to the direction of Naruto room. Let's see if fate can be defied, spoke Raven, and smiled. She had a good look. The birdcage seal, it was beyond outdated. Her clan used a similar seal. Then it hit her. The thought made Raven stumbled a little. The birdcage seal was exactly like the wall-less cage seal they used on prisoners, only the bloodline seal and the pain-inducing segments were raised to life-threatening levels ever added, and they were of Roth designed. Raven-san, are you alright, spoke Hinata. I'm fine, I just had a long day, that all, said Raven. Hinata nods. Raven's pep talk got her going to see Naruto if it was for the last time. Naruto finished pouring up 2 glasses of wine when a light knock was heard from behind the door. Enter. Raven opened the door. She steps aside and allowed Hinata to enter. Have fun, you two, said Raven, and she smirked, seeing both of them have red cheeks. Naruto grumbled. Was everyone going to make suggestions like that? Most likely. Walk down away from the Shoguns. Raven had to tell the clan about this and get some payback. You look very beautiful, said Naruto, making Hinata eat, looking at her feet. It's good to see you again, and Naruto-kun. She spoke silently, but still loud enough for him to hear. Said Blonde smiled more than he had ever smiled in a long time. Hinata still cared about him. Both sat down on the couch. Care for a drink, said Naruto, offered a glass, and Hinata, she kindly took it from his hands, and tasted the sweet liquid with a single sip. Looking down at the floor, I understand that you had TT to be harsh. I'm deeply sorry, Hinata-chan, said Naruto before taking another sip, for doing that to you, and also sorry that I never got time to spend some days alone with you. If I had been less thick in the head as realized sooner how you felt about me, then I would have asked you out on a date. Mind you, that offer's still open, if you are interested. Hinata was both deeply surprised and happy at what she just heard. Naruto did harbor feelings that were similar to her own, but remembering that she had to do something when she got back to the village. Naruto quickly saw the down look on her face, and became quickly concerned. I still love you, but, said Hinata, it's not fair. It's not fair, she repeated in her mind, seeing this set off warning bells in Naruto's head. This must be the problems Raven spoke of. What's wrong, Hinata-chan? Tears began to form in the girl's eyes, making Naruto even more concerned about his very precious person. He stood up from the couch he sat on, and walked over to sit beside Hinata. Then he wrapped his arms around her in a comforting manner, which she quickly obliged as she cried onto his chest, finding much needed comfort in his arms. I've been forced into marriage with a son to a very powerful noble I don't like, because my clan wants more influence, whispered Hinata and pressed her head into his chest more, not wanting to leave him. Naruto's eyes narrowed. They always hurt her in some way, shape, or form. Now what they did was going too far in his eyes. I'm going to destroy them and mount their heads on pikes. But to his shock, Hinata wasn't finished. They also did this. She lifted her hand up and revealed to Naruto her forehead. And to his horror, revealed what she bore. The caged bird seal. They put this seal on me and shoved me into the branch family. They claimed that I was too weak to lead the clan, and my feelings for you would bring dishonor to them. When I return they will ship me off with a few other women, some main branch, and the elders to the noble's land to preserve the Hyuga clan. Naruto's temper was raging by now, but he forced his anger down. He would get the last laugh. There was no way he even allowed some little prick noble, and those prevented old men, touch Hinata. Then as Shogun I will protect you and remove this duty from your shoulders, spoke Naruto. Lifting Hinata's head up by cupping her chin with his fingers, he gave the tearful girl a gentle, love-filled smile. Going though 20 hand seal, Naruto's hand became engulfed in blue fire, and with the other hand lifting the fringe of hair on Hinata's forehead. With his other hand he pressed 2 fingers onto the center location of the branch seal. He spoke only a single word. Release. Hinata felt her brow burn, but as quickly as it started the burning it disappeared. What? Asked Hinata, rubbing her brow, and hoped that Naruto didn't do something to the seal. Come over here, he asks, and helps the very confused woman up and steered her to a mirror. What did you do to the seal? Asked Hinata, but look right at her reflection. She gasped in great shock at what she saw. What seal? He asked with a humorous tone. The caged bird seal was no longer there. Hinata for one was too shocked for words. Naruto's smile got bigger. Being a seal master has its advantages. Adding the fact that this seal is out of date, and you didn't forget about Kyubi is no longer sealed in the already. Besides getting Kyubi free, that seal was easy to remove. Hinata dumbly nodded. She was too much in awe to say anything. She was free as a bird. She was once more free to fly up to the sun, free from the curse of the caged bird. Hinata turns to look up at Naruto. I am free, but what do I do now? Naruto smiled and leant in, causing Hinata to blush more than she ever did before at how close they were, only a few centimeters apart. She felt his arms encircle her once again. She gasped as his hands rubbed her bottom and the smile became on of deviousness. Why don't we worry about that later? He spoke in a seductive whisper. And with that he closed his distance, leaving Hinata in sweet bliss for having her long-time dream come true. Oh my, whispered Hinata was guided to Naruto's bed as she was relieved of her coat, followed by several other parts, hers and Naruto's clothing, most notable Hinata's bunched up panties and Naruto's boxers. Haha, moaned Hinata. Hinata was going to like getting this kind of bliss. Early hours of the morning, Hinata was awakened by the rays of the sun shining through the windows. Hinata stretched her upper body, letting the covers fall, showing her pale nude upper body. Naruto couldn't call out Hinata as she covered herself with the sheets and looked around for her clothes but found them gone, but saw a lovely lavender kimono and a pair of panties and bra. Naruto most likely had them cleaned, but her something to wear found a note saying Naruto had to do somethings and would be back later. After dressing, Hinata decided to nose around Naruto's private rooms. It had a mix of old and new, taking note of a large closet. She opened the double doors and gasped. Before her sat a suit of samurai armor. The helmet crest had been shaped like fox ears and the face mask is shaped like a fox's snout. The entered samurai armor had black and orange colors. Hanging behind the armor is the same burnt orange sleeveless overcoat Naruto wore yesterday. On the sides were sealing and storage scrolls, ninja and samurai weapons. Then she saw a rack of tri-pointed kunai along with a long kunai-like sword and a broadsword that made her shivered as she felt its aura. She tried to fight the pull of drawing the broadsword, but the kunai sword own aura blazed, shaking Hinata out of the trance she was in. I wouldn't touch that broadsword, it tends to draw unprepared, spoke Kyubi, startling Hinata. I am sorry, I shouldn't have noise around, spoke Hinata. Kyubi chuckled. MH? Well, it seems both swords approved of you. Only the pure of heart can lit the dragon sword's fire, and one of strength of will contain the blade of the demon king. Hinata saw both blades' auras glow. A fiery aura came from the dragon's sword and a purple mist-like aura came from the blade of the demon king. I'm not that great, muttered Hinata, but Kyubi pinched her out. Why did you do that? Then stop putting yourself down, leave the old Hinata behind in the east, or I'll give you such a pinch, Kyubi threatened, and with those claws Hinata would feel those pinches for years. Later, the team from Konoha had assembled themselves in front of the palace gates. Around them was a large group of samurai and ninjas that are escorting them back to Konoha. Already they were wondering what the reactions of those in the village would be when they find out that the Emperor of the West was their former demon vessel. Kakashi signed. He wasn't going to look forward to it. Are we ready? He asked everyone. They nodded and were ready to move when a voice stopped them, telling them to wait. Turning around they saw the Kyubi and Hinata walking towards them. There has been a slight change in plans. I am to escort you to the border as well. Kyubi turned to face the Konoha ninjas and gave them a cruel, sadistic, and demonic smile. This in turn caused the Nin to shiver in fear. I love being me. I have to deliver the message and scare the pants off of Konoha. He. They were defiantly not looking forward to the trip back home. Kyubi just chuckled at their reactions, as she just loved to mess with their heads, making them feel true terror. Shall we begin the journey to the border? She asked. Kakashi reluctantly nodded, and they all proceeded to walk to the city gates. All but Hinata. Kurenai noticed this and turned to the girl. What's wrong, Hinata? She asked. This got everyone's attention, making them turn to the shy Hyuga. I'm not going back. Hinata said this, their eyes widened in disbelief. What? Kurenai, what about the Hinata showed her unmarked forehead and had that determined look in her eye. I'm staying here with Naruto-kun. I'm staying with the person I love. But what about Konoha and your clan? Asked Sakura. She knew Hinata would stay, but she needed to know her other reasons. Shino and Kiba wanted to know as well. I had been branded and married off to a noble son. Even if I wanted to fight, I was leaving Konoha on my return with several other women, a few main branch, and the clan elder, who would sample me. No doubt ages my will to persevere the clan. That's a joke, a really bad joke, said Sakura. Both Western and Konoha and became disgusted with Hyuga. She right, I was unable to say any because of clan laws, and I was Hinata guardian requested by them. If I did spoke out, I would have been removed as her guardian. Hinata would have been left alone after the other rookies turned your backs to her after hearing her love for Naruto. I may have disliked Naruto, but he made Hinata happy, and her happiness is more important to me, said Kurenai as she walked up to Hinata and hugs the younger woman, telling her she'll miss her. As both Shino and Kiba looked ashamed, but Kiba got angry. You're saying those Tams would have sent you and several other skilled ninja with some old men so they can have their groove gone while the rest of us will die, spat Kiba. His clan would fight to the bitter end for Konoha. They only send the kids and pups with the elders and pack elders to safety. How noble the Hyuga are, remarked Kyubi. The disgust oozed from her mouth. But there may be no war. This got every from Konoha to look at her. The Shogun had been hasty in not helping Konoha. He is still not sending aid, but he can apply some incentive to Earth and Lighting County's rulers to pull in both hidden villages due to the leader of Oto less than shiny reputation and the loss of trade income. I would like nothing more than to sink my claws into that snake's hide, but I'll settle with his little snake pit get trampled by Konoha. This is more than good. Konoha will grateful, said Kakashi. They better be, but probably not. I know Konoha. I know how it thinks being in that village for 3 lifetimes, remarked Kyubi. Everyone stared. The fox woman Kyubi was living in Konoha when it was founded. Kyubi called out Raven as she jogged up to the fox woman and handed her a scroll. What's this? asked Kyubi, who opens it and started reading the scroll. Oh my, it must be my birthday, said Kyubi. Smiled the same evil smile. That smile doesn't bode well for Konoha, muttered Shino. Roth demands satisfaction for this. I sent a letter to my clan and got response moments ago, and has been confirmed that the item stolen by them after killing Azeroth greatest sealing master. The damage done to his major organs and chakra coils match what you knew about their fighting style, said Raven, looking very angry. Did the Hyuga kill Roth? Aza asked. Hinata put everything together. Getting a stare from Raven, Kyubi placed a hand on the woman's shoulder. Yes, Aza was killed by the Hyuga, who stole and perverted several seals he made into the birdcage seal. Please forgive me, asked Hinata, who got on her hands and knees, her head to the ground. Forgive you? You have nothing to do with this. Please get up. It's not right for Naruto and I meant the Shogun's consort to bow like this. I'm not mad at you, just said Raven. But your clan, the Roth, demands satisfaction or there will be war, right? Hinata interrupted Raven. I offer myself. Hinata was stopped when a very familiar voice called out. Hinata-chan, you're not taking the blame for Hyuga actions. They abused and used you for too long. They will have to deal with the blowback, said Naruto, as he walked towards Hinata and got her to stand up. But Naruto put his finger to her lips. You're too kind-hearted at time that the reasons I care and love you so much, making Hinata blush. Hyuga and their elders will be forced to face this without you, remarked Naruto. They had brought this on themselves, said Kyubi, rolled up the scroll and placed it into her sleeve. I'll see to this. You have my word, little sister. Raven did a short bow and returned to the palace. Sakura mouthed, little sister. We'll kept your departure off long enough. After all, I ordered it after all. Kyubi, try not to make them sweat too much and make sure you take pictures of their faces. I'll try not to have too much fun, shall we, said Kyubi, and offered her arm to Kakashi, who hissed a little for fear of losing his book holding arm. Very well, Kyubi-sama said. Kakashi, I'm going to die, I'm going to die, I'm going to die, he thought as he takes a hold of her arm and Kyubi locks her elbow with his. So is that crater in the mountains. Still there, I never taken the time to see my handiwork up close. Konoha was going to love this, thought the Konoha ninja, leaving 2 former comrades behind but taking along the greatest walking disaster that had befallen Konoha years after its founding. Can I see what's under that mask, Kakashi-kun, asked Kyubi a bit too sweetly for Kakashi liking. It better not be another mask. Greatest walking disaster ever? Little did they know that the Empire of the West was coming to the east with the echo. After a week of sleepless nights they arrived at Konoha gates, and this time the Konoha team learned that Kyubi had a wicked sense of humor. Kurenai was spared from Kyubi jokes, aside from the troops. When asked why spare Kurenai from her wrath, Kyubi replied she may have hated Naruto once, but she did raise Hinata when she was cast aside and done good by her. If Kurenai hadn't, Kyubi had something planned for Kurenai that involved tentacles and mind lots of tentacles. Sakura looked haggard, her hair stuck out everywhere. She attempted to wash the glue out but wasn't able to get all of it. She had to wait till after giving her report to take a long hot shower. Kiba and Akamura looked very subdued but looked ready to snap at the same, but jumped at the sound of a cat that had meowed. Shino looked well less Shino-like and leave it at that. Kakashi looked ready to comment suicide after having to read a yaoi book with a genjutsu that forced him to read every line that woman is evil as sin. Kyubi was in a good mood. She wore a cape with a hood and a blank umbu mask to hide her looks. It wouldn't be too good if she caused mass panic yet. Now remember, don't say anything about me or Naruto, whispered Kyubi. I want them unaware for maximum shock effect. We understand, sighed Kakashi. Konoha was in for a shock as he reported in on the mission to the gate guards. Do not threat Kakashi-kun, I'm not going on a killing rampage. I may have to hurt a few. Kyubi trailed off. It didn't fill Kakashi with hope. Walking down the main street, many ninjas and village stopped and looked at Western delegation and started whispering. Finally reaching Hokage Tower, Umbu told them that the Hokage was in a meeting with the two councils. Perfect, spoke Kyubi. She didn't to run all over the place now. Everyone important that she needed to see were all in one spot. I feel sorry for the two councils, muttered Kiba to Shino, who nodded. As the group was directed to the two council chambers, Kyubi only remarked, was they remodel. Kakashi, you're back. I trust that the Shogun can help us, asked Tsunade. Hamura, Koharu and Danzo looking at Kakashi, then to the masked person beside him, a woman judging by the height but the cloak, hood, and the mask made impossible to be sure. The Shogun of the West wasn't too pleased when he found out about the fake IDs and papers my team used to enter the capital of the empire, and we had to spend the night in the dungeons. So your team failed, no doubt my useless daughter's fault, said Hayashi. Hardly spoke the masked person, now know to be woman. And who are you, snapped Hayashi. He actives his Byakugan but cried out in pain, holding his head. What happened, asked the civilian. I don't take to kindly at intimidation tactics, and to answer the man with those white eyes, I'm the Empire of the West Envoy and the Shogun's trusted advisor, the envoy coolly stated, and lets go of the hand seal she made from under her cloak. Why are you here then, Jounin? Kakashi stated that Empire of the West will not help Konoha, spoke Tsunade. The Empire will not send military aid, started the envoy but was cut off. Why not? Surely the Shogun knows the gains in helping Konoha conquer her enemies and the spoils that can be gained, spoke Danzo, appealing to what he thought was a warlord turned Shogun. So who is the Hokage, asked the envoy, sounding annoyed. Tsunade, replied Danzo. So she should be speaking to me, said the envoy, tilting her head to the right as if she was talking to a child. Yes, but it doesn't matter, rebuffed Danzo, making Tsunade mad. So your role would be then him? The envoy questioned. Advisor to the Hokage, Danzo answered. Are all Easterns as confusing as you? Then I'm advisor, but I don't talk for the Shogun. I advise, not speak for the Shogun, and speak for him when he is not present, the envoy stated, making her guards and parts of the two councils chuckled at Danzo, who realized he was duped into talking like a fool. How dare! Shut up, Danzo, snapped Tsunade, cutting Danzo off, and sent a glare to the rest of the two councils. After Danzo had settled down being browbeaten by Tsunade, what is the Shogun willing to help Konoha besides military aid? Trade embargo. It will hurt them a lot faster than it would hurt the Empire, and can be lifted quickly enough after the talks are finished, bearing any outside interfere, the envoy spoke curtly. Tsunade and the three elders nodded. Even Danzo had to agree a trade embargo both hurt lighting and earth would Curio Iwa and Kumo leavening Oto all alone. I see, said Tsunade, nodding, but one of the civilians on the council stand up, not understanding what kind of help is trade going to do. We need solders and weapons, not knickknacks. Raw iron ore are not knickknacks, both lighting and rock expose. It's the ore to the Empire, who can refine the ore into steel, which we then sell back to lighting and rock. Now what can steel be used for, stated the envoy. Weapons. It's easier to ship raw ore than to refine locally. Lighting and rock only have to pay half the amount to get high quality steel they would normally get going to fire to have refined. You troublesome idiot, muttered Shikaku. Why should we sell them steel of good quality to our enemies that they can use to make better weapons to use on us, shouted another civilian. That way of thinking is what started this little mess. Steel isn't used only for weapons. Many building projects in both lighting and earth had failed because of poorer quality of steel used, causing many deaths. Steel sold to them by fire. Seeing as Konoha who made the suggestion to the fire daimyo. What? Shouted Tsunade, slamming both hands down on the table. You're telling me Konoha is at fault for the impending war with Oto, Iwa, and Kumo? See your reaction, you didn't know, said the envoy. Oto is Konoha enemy, and seeing the opportunity to get two major villages with long-standing feuds with Konoha on its side, said the envoy. Naruto did hate the place and knew about this problem and wasn't able to justify military actions. In fact, Naruto was actually waiting for an envoy from Fire or Konoha, but Konoha entered the capital using less than trustworthy means. You're damn right I didn't, and I'm sure the fire daimyo would have seen that would cause trouble, growled Tsunade. Unless he was under a genjutsu or knew but never care, or even is a fool. I do not know how that kind of rhymes, said the envoy, laughing at her own bad joke. So that's why he was so hostile, said Sakura. No, he is that mad at Konoha for what they did long before this happened, replied the envoy, making Sakura hang her head down in shame. Konoha hasn't wronged the Shogun. Why would he hate Konoha? And for that matter, where is my daughter? I was just informed she hadn't arrived. My clan compound demanded. Hayashi, a massager, had given a note from the elders that his daughter hasn't arrived or had even entered the village. She is with the Shogun after having found out the area less oppressed. Noah Boxton, Noah less birdcage like the Shogun founded the lock easy to pick, said the envoy. Making Hayashi pale before his face twisted from shock to anger, he attacked the envoy, striking dead center, making her double over. The Western ninja and samurai reacted, and Konoha Umbu moved in surrounding the group from the west. Hayashi, do you know what just did? Roared Tsunade, but Hayashi shout back, be quiet, this is Hyuga clan business. The empire has taken the Byakugan as its own. Konoha must send hunters to the west to kill that traitor daughter of Mai. As for this, I just sending them a message. Hayashi finished, and got up from his finishing stance, or tried to, but found his hand in an iron vice grip. Hayashi, I think you should start begging for mercy, but I doubt you'll get any, warned Kurenai, but really hoped Hayashi was going to get it. Kurenai, what are you talking about? Yelled Tsunade, but felt a rise in chakra from the Envo. Who are you? Whispered Hayashi. His Byakugan wasn't being blocked now, he can see red chakra coils. A hand reaches up to the mask and removed it halfway to show a blood-red eye with a black slit. It seems I'm going to be apologizing to Lady Hinata on my return, spoke the Envo, and to clarified Konoha misdeeds to the Shogun, who is well known by the people of this village, who I freely pledged my loyal after freeing and granting me a body of my own. You all know me very well. I am known to the Empire of the West as Vilheim at times, but to the east my name is feared by all. With one swish of my tails I can level mountains, and cause tilde waves. The envoy throws Hayashi back to the now scared shitless council, ripping off the cloak to reveal the blood-red-haired woman with her normally hidden ears and tail out. Hello Konoha, I'm back, as an evil smile graces the woman's face. Kyubi, whispers Tsunade at the now unmasked demon fox. Everyone held a bated breath as Kyubi pulled out something black from behind and put it up near her face. That click, followed by a flash that caused cries of surprise and fear. Back to the Western Empire capital, sitting in an open-air tea shop, Hinata watched the crowd somewhat daydreaming. Hinata was still a bit overwhelmed at the 180 her life has taken. She was a branch house Hyuga doomed to arranged marriage to a noble, and would most likely be raped by dirty old Hyuga elders to being reunited with her true loved had made love and who happened to be the ruler of an empire. If Hinata was a gold digger she would have hit pay dirt. She would miss Konoha, but there wasn't anything to tide her down there. Her sister used the seal on her, saying she was her better. The seal now proves it, and laughs at her pain. Father had arranged the marriage, pretty much killed any feeling to him, and everything she wanted was right here. Hinata, said Raven, shaken Hinata from her thoughts. Sorry, I was just thinking you were saying something. Hinata sipped some tea. You told me that your good diplomat skills were second to none, asked Raven, turning her teacup with her fingers. Yes, I like you. Fill in for Kyubi when her fox Yoki mating cycle kicks in, Raven bluntly stated, causing Hinata to choke on her tea and the half-eaten rice ball she was washing down with. Kyubi, what cycles? Said Hinata, wiping her mouth. Ehihei, Kyubi mating cycles, you know, in the East Yoki Oni and demons are very rare, but here you don't need to look very hard to find one, said Raven, and she pointed to several. Wolf, cat and bird Yoki, they looked human save for the ears and tails as they mulling around, and even one of those tall, brute-like ogres pulling a cart with wares that he was selling. Wow, I never really noted, muttered Hinata. You said something about fox Yoki mating cycles. After saying that caused a passing wolf Yoki to laugh, and turned to the pair. You never heard how wild they get when their cycles kick and they screw anything with 2 legs, even 4 legs if they're horny enough, but why settle for scrawny fox when you can get a full male wolf, said the Yoki with a grin, making Hinata a bit uncomfortable. Tile Raven grabbed the Yoki's shirt and blasted him with rightist female killer intent, RFKI. Beat it, horn dog, go hump one of your smaller K9 relatives if your nose didn't tell you. She is already taken and spoken for, said Raven, holding a kunai to the Yoki's throat as the man saw the hidden weapons Raven carried. The wolf Yoki left with his tail literally between his legs and his ears pressed against his head. Thank you, I was a bit off guard, I'm still not used to everything that has happened, Hinata smiled. It's okay, if you want I can be one of your bodyguards. Naruto hasn't told you yet, asked Raven. He did say something, but I'm a chunin with element jutsus under my belt, added my fighting style. I can take care of myself, Hinata declared in high-born tone. I never said you can't fight, but a lady of a house has cartel of bodyguards. Naruto has them too, but normally Kyubi act as his bodyguard. We watch out and act as advisors, be your friends if allowed it. Of course you can, my friend, shouted Hinata, getting a few stares. Naruto didn't order you, did he? She asked. She didn't want to be treated like a glass doll. Settle down, I'm not ordered to be your friend, you're a good person, and you made Naruto my brother truly smile. In years he only did it once when my mother made him and big sister Kyubi part of my family and of the clan, said Raven, rubbing the back of her neck. I always wanted another sister besides my twin, would love you and so will my mother. I honored, thank you, said Hinata, and she hugs Raven. So sister, when do you need me to fill in for Kyubi? When her cycles are kicking. Hinata had a blush, she wasn't used to talking about sex. Mainly 4 times a year for about a week or 2. Normally Kyubi gives fair warning ahead of time, but it seems she has found the one in this city. I feel sorry for the guy beside Naruto, which you know firsthand how much a stamina he has. Hinata blushed hard and had a little perverted giggle as well. You can just picture how much Kyubi has. Oh Kami, I need a man in my life, spoke a now gloomy Raven who was hugging her legs as she swatched down, doodling in the dirt as if a rain cloud appear over her head. Oh dear, muttered Hinata as she tried to get Raven out of her gloom. It seems dating prospects in the West was as bad as dating prospects was in the East. In the land of water, the Mizukage was reminded of her lack of a man in her life. Need a man, need a man, need a man. One of her aides, Ao, entered her office. Ao, shut up before I kill you, yelled Terumi Aime. I didn't say anything this time, thought Ao, thinking his Kage was going to lose it like the last one, but without genjutsu that started it. To the far southern areas near the empire's border with Earth Country, the smoldering remains of a thriving village. The village seemed to have been in the middle of the Unity Day festival that marked the day the empire was founded by the peace giver, or his more well-known title, the Shogun of the West. A short run outside the village was the fort that looked after the area was still burning, its walls smashed by earth jutsu and exploding tags. A few samurai were impaled by some earth spikes, and in the fields were tracks of a massive snake that had been summoned near a spot covered with blood and scraps of clothing, like something had eaten any captives and was very messy. Bodies of the villagers littered the ground alongside their ninja and samurai protectors laying around them. A few of the village women whose dresses had been torn open, and most likely raped before being killed. In the ashes was a girl's dolly that was picked up by a gloved hand. Such barbarity the war god Bishamonten does not give his blessing to these warriors, said Usuji Kenshin, the dragon warlord, as he offers a prey to the dead to ease their pasting after he placed the girl's dolly back onto the ground gently. Usuji Kenshin looks around as he heard the faint sounds of battle. My lord, yelled one of Usuji men over there. As Usuji jogs up a hill, he saw a massive dragon composed of shadows raised up from the forest to give out a roar before the dragon crashing downwards back into the forest, tearing up anything in its wake, throwing earth and trees along with a few bodies into the air. We move now. Bishamonten will grant us a proper battle to right this barbarity, ordered Kenshin, getting to his horse as his 100 mounted troops galloped towards the battle. In the forest, terrified villagers, both human and yoki, screamed in fear from behind the earth and stone barrier as volley of kunai bounced off. A Western ninja maintaining the barrier from behind changed hand seals, quickly making earth harden and expand barrier into a golem with massive arms. Still changing hand seals, the Western ninja controlled the golem actions as it bats aside Oto and IWA ninjas. Villagers that survived the attack were now running for their lives, but a number of Oto and IWA ninjas found them and were intending to wipe them out after seeing a number of half-humans and animals. Villagers would have all perished if it wasn't the timely arrival of a heavily armed traveling party on its way to capital for the Unity Day festivals. Everywhere Eastern ninjas fought Western ninjas and samurai. Dancing around each other, two well-known ninjas, one from the east and from the west, clashed in combat. Katan Great Fireball Jutsu. A large fireball shot out only to be countered by another jutsu. Kajin Void in the Shadows Jutsu. Outstretched hand shot out a wide disc of shadows as the fireball is swallowed up by the disc. That is reabsorbed back into the hand just in time for the originator of the Katan Jutsu sword strike get blocked by a large sickle. Sasuke clashed blades with Wrath. Erla, why are you attacking the Empire? Said Erla, pushing her sickle. Aegis Sasuke's sword to test my strength and to get more powerful jutsus. Sasuke replied with a smirk. Brat, said Erla, there is no need, kill helpless villages, as the Kunoichi Sennin shoved Sasuke hard, throwing him off balanced, and shot out a thrust kick followed up by a spin kick to Sasuke's chest that sent him flying. Sasuke grunted as his back meets with a very stiff hardwood tree, only to find a hand of shadows attached to Erla by an arm of shadows coming from inside her sleeve, pining. His arms to his side, they were in my way and they were freaks. They should feel honored that Uchiha was killing them, grunted Sasuke as the hand tightens its grip. Your actions must be punished now, die, said Erla, throwing her sickle with one hand at Sasuke. With one clean cut, Sasuke's head was separated from his body only to be a log. A replacement jutsu, said Erla, and felt a presence behind. Do you believe you can match a Uchiha elite ninja? Erla gasped as a sword is thrust into her back and out of her chest. And that why you're a weakling compared to me? Sasuke as withdraws his sword and takes Erla's head in one swing. Sasuke looking down, he kicked the body in disdain. He wasn't able to copy any of her jutsus because they were a bloodline element jutsu, and to think those lazy Nara had never exploited Kajin to its upper limits. But this Wrath proved to be good stepping stone. He hoped the others of this Western ninja clan came proved more of a challenge. Sasuke's eyes widened as the body went up into smoke. Kajin Great Shadow Dragon Jutsu, shouted Erla from behind Sasuke, who turned just in time to see a shadow dragon coming right at him. Sasuke growled and ran away fast, shooting past people and between trees, hoping to outrun the jutsu long enough for it to run out of power. But looking over his shoulder, the dragon was ripping apart anything in its way. Enough of this, Chidori yelled. Sasuke turns around to fact the dragon, who lighting charged hand cleaves the shadow dragon in two just as the dust settled. Erla's running form was already too close to him, and would have injured or killed him if wasn't for a number of hands shooting up from the ground, taking Erla by surprise. She was dragged underground. The sounds of moaning and grunts of smuggle echoed out from the hole Erla had been pulled down into. I didn't need your help, said Sasuke, glaring at Kabuto as he steps from behind a tree. Well, Sasuke-kun, can have you getting killed now, can we, said Kabuto, pushing up his glasses with one hand while the other drags a dead samurai by his armor. I must say the West has proven very interesting, wouldn't you say, remarked Kabuto as he looks to where Erla is trapped. Before Sasuke can retort, two kunoichi crash through bushes. Kuratsuchi was not having a good day so far. This Western kunoichi proved to be more of a handful than she first thought. Her only backup right now was from the two pricks from Oto who were watching, and there are no IWA ninja she can count on. Give it up, you can't beat me, said Kuratsuchi. Grins, a bit of sweat runs down her face. Oh really, so why are you struggling so much, said the Western kunoichi with pale grayish skin, purple color eyes and hair, with two odd slash marks on her cheeks, smirked and began to push back. Kuratsuchi scowled as she gets slammed up. Aegis the tree. Should we help Sasuke-kun, asked Kabuto. No, I want to see how the so-called next leader of IWA stack up without help, stated Sasuke as he crossed both arms, with that smug look. Oh, good point. Besides, kunoichi versus kunoichi fights can be very interesting, chuckled Kabuto. Assholes, shouted Kuratsuchi as she nearly avoided getting ahead but to her face. Both kunoichi lock kunais, each kunoichi grabs the other's kunai, welding hands struggling to overpower or trip up the other. Getting slammed up ages the tree again. Kuratsuchi gasps as a knee blow hits her liver, making her lose her footing. This allowed the kunoichi to free up her hand and formed a blue sphere in her palm. What the? Said Sasuke, and Kabuto looked surprised. Time to finish this, Rasengan, shouted the Western kunoichi, intending to shove the blue chakra sphere into Kuratsuchi's face. That's the Kuratsuchi only thought as fear etched on her face. Her light brown eyes can see the swirling chakra patterns of the fourth Hokage trademark jutsu, only to have the kunoichi wrist being grabbed by a hand followed by lighting chakra. Blue ACH of lighting danced all along both kunoichi bodies. Both gave out silent screams of pain while as the Sasuke grip on the Western kunoichi wrist tightens as he breaks the bones agage. Separating the Western kunoichi from Kuratsuchi, who fell to her knees, Sasuke throws the Western kunoichi into a tree. The kunoichi held her abused hand, seeing both Sasuke and Kabuto moving towards her. Knowing she is outmatched, the Western kunoichi tried to escape before she can raise her only working hand. Kabuto got up close. Now can have you leavening so soon. Kabuto's own hand, glowing pale green, slaps the kunoichi remaining working arm. Aga's pain flared up her arm before she can event react. Wire pins her to the tree. She is up ages as a kunai is stabbed. Thought both hands gagag high, making the woman tremble in pain. The kunoichi felt hands on her legs, then behind near her rear, not before feeling her up, making the kunoichi turn red with anger and tired to kick Kabuto, but he had already relieved the kunoichi of her holsters and combat belt, and going through them. After making sure the kunoichi wasn't going anywhere, Sasuke garbs a fist full of hair so he can stare her in the eyes. Where's the dope? Go suck yourself off, was his answer, and the woman gets a backhanded strike to her face. Team, that hurts, yelled Kuratsuchi after she recovers from the shock of seeing that jutsu and Sasuke's lighting element going through her. She throws a kunai at Sasuke, who catches it with two fingers. If I wanted to kill you, you'd be already dead, stated Sasuke, and glared at Kuratsuchi with a hollow look. Kuratsuchi gulped and turns to the kunoichi. Who showed you that jutsu, you bitch, yelled Kuratsuchi. Go have him suck you off, yelled a defiant kunoichi. Kuratsuchi slashed the woman's chest at the breast, showing off the woman's large endowments. Damn bitch, got better tits than I do, Kuratsuchi thought as she looks the netted, straining to hold back the woman beasts. I'll hang you by your tits if you don't start talking, threatened Kuratsuchi. Looks like someone has breast envy, Aag cried out the kunoichi when Kuratsuchi punches her right breast hard. That hurt you, loudmouth harpy, I'm betting you hadn't even gotten laid yet. Shut up, you slut, yelled Kuratsuchi, both cheeks red. She can't help it if every guy she meant was a pervert, and her grandfather was a tad overprotected. Sasuke pinched his nose, fighting off the head ACH as the interrogation turned into a girl's catfight. At least they're not fighting over me, thought Sasuke. I do believe I have found the answers, spoke up Kabuto, holding up the ID card. Roth Maria, age 20, Jounin, blood relations, twin sister Roth Raven, mother Roth Erla, father MHH? Not listed. And only tells us her name, not where the dopes is, said Sasuke, and grabs Maria hair. Tut tut, Sasuke-kun, always impatient, her wallet holds more than just money and IDs, stated Kabuto, holding up pictures. Give me those, Kuratsuchi said, and grabs a photo. Looks like a goofball with bad taste in clothes, remarked Kuratsuchi, seeing a younger Naruto, Raven, and Myra in a picture. That was 5 years ago, here's a more updated one. Well, it seems that the dead last dope isn't a dead last dope, remarked Kabuto, holding up the photo to Sasuke. So he wearing fancy armor, he is still a dope. A older Naruto in full armor, a older Raven and Myra with their mother along with few others posing for group shot. Sasuke, you're not paying attention. The armor he is wearing is samurai warlord armor. Only highly skilled leaders of armies are allowed to wear this type, and this mark on his coat, that brand is the mark of the Shogun of the West, said Kabuto, taping the photo. Both Kuratsuchi and Sasuke eyes widened. The Shogun of the West was the dope/hated son of the fourth Hokage, leader of the most powerful nation on the west side of the continent. The ground shakes as explosions underground alerted everyone nearby that Erla was getting free. That's right, he is the Shogun of the West. When he finds out what has happened, your villages will fall under the Empire's might, said Myra. You think that dope can beat 3 hidden villages? He'll run this so-called empire into the ground. It's more fitting that Uchiha rule in this empire, and would it be greater than it is now? Why would we want a monkey-eyed team like you as Shogun, said Myra, and spits at Sasuke's feet. My clan the Roth drove off the Uchiha before they moved to the east, and Naruto united this land and gave us all a most rarest gift to be found in the West, peace, stated Myra. Ready to die. Sasuke stared at Maria, who showed no fear. She stared him right in the eyes just like Naruto did 6 years ago. And then I'll just destroy your clan and take everything the dope cares for, and when he is broken at my feet I'll take his life, said a dark-sounding Sasuke as he walks towards Myra. Give a message to him, he'll understand it, meaning, said Sasuke, pulls back his arm as a Chidori is formed. Erla growled as she pulls herself up from the earth. Looking around and saw Myra was about to be stabbed by Sasuke. No, Maria, shouted Erla as she watches Sasuke lighting covered hand about to be thrust in her child's chest. Myra, no, yelled Erla, but another reanimated ninja latched on to no, don't, shouted Erla, and willed the very shadows to crush the corpse holding her, but still wouldn't be able to stop him. Sasuke's face betrayed no emotion as lighting chakra crackled in his hand. Myra's chest heaved as her finale moment draws near. She takes a deep breath, closed her eyes, and was a peace. The silence was broken by one word later. Sasuke was mere inches from perching Myra's chest, only stopped because of the low rumble was get louder and closer. Aoto Ni near the tree line pulled out a kunai thinking he was ready to face, not expecting a horse-mounted samurai stabbing him with a pike, or saw the other 99 ones behind. Galloping though the forest, white and black armored samurai entered the fray, turning the battle clearly in the West's favor, trampling Oto, an IWA ninja. One samurai saw what was about to happen, steered his horse towards the group. Sasuke turned back to Myra and was about to stab her. "Don't you dare harm her, you fiend, take this," yelled a voice as a chakra lance flies at Sasuke, who leaps back, putting distant from Maria. Leaping from his horse, the samurai stand in front of Maria. "I stand for virtue and honor. I, Nao Kanetsugu, will not allow you to strike down this woman." "Talk about cheesy," remarked Kuratsuchi. Started making hand seals. Jintan storm of time's erosion jutsu, shouted Kuratsuchi. A triangle with a small ball in the center formed. Between her hands, Kuratsuchi thrusts out both arms, launching the spinning triangle that expands larger and engulfed both Kanetsugu and Maria, spinning faster, eroding everything at the molecular level, breaking down into dust. Kuratsuchi smirks, but it left her face when seeing both Kanetsugu and Myra unharmed, protected by 5 flouting notes, each one a main point of a star. "Points of Heaves protection," said Kanetsugu. "Hold a hand seal with his sword stabbed into the ground, acting as the center point. You attacks cannot pass this barrier. You have lost this battle. Take your leave from here while you can." TCH Kuratsuki clicked her teeth, seeing both teams from Oto were running and long gone. "Tell the Shogun he is a dead man. IWA will not stop till all of the 4th Hokage's blood is dust." A whirlwind hides Kuratsuki's body and dissipated, leavening nothing being. "Thank you," said Maria as her mother removes the kunai that held her together, and the wire were cut, freeing Maria, who legs give out and is held up by Kanetsugu, who lay her down as on the ground, careful not to get her wounds infected as her mother checks her wounds. Kenshin arrived, having driven off the ninjas, holding 2 different headbands taken off their former slain owners. "Look like there will be another glorious war," said Kenshin, looking at the Oto and IWA engravings on the headbands. Back in the capital, both Hinata and Naruto enjoy a quiet stroll in the palace garden as they neared upon Naruto. "What did you want to show me?" "Well, I heard when you go on a date," said Naruto with a blush. This was a bit awkward for him, as it was for Hinata. Having sex was easy, building a relationship was hard. Go on," whispered Hinata. "That having a candlelit dinner for 2 was really romantic," said Naruto, and reviled a small table covered with a white tablecloth with 2 place settings. Hinata gave out a happy squeal and claps both hands together. She always fantasized about a candlelit dinner with Naruto, and she turned and gave him a kiss on the lips. Several Western ninja, mostly female kind, gushed at such a romantic sight, and started to make plans to guilt their boyfriends into doing something like that, or they find themselves sleeping in the dog house for a few weeks. After sitting a servant, Hinata and Naruto started to eat amid small talk. "So how did your day with Raven go?" asked Naruto. "Very good. I was afraid the bad business with the Hyuga and Roth, she wouldn't want to be near me, let alone talk over tea," said Hinata. "The Roth made me and Kyubi part of their clan and part of their family, and didn't doubt Raven to see past that," said Naruto. "She told me about Kyubi at certain times of year. I will do my best as your advisor, and I would like to meet the other members of my bodyguard," said Hinata. "Oh, that a load off my shoulders. Those daimyo are cutthroats when they want to be. It's hard trying to keep them from going at each other's like wild dogs and get them to work together, and getting things done that will benefit the empire as a whole," replied Naruto. "Kyubi eared of action for all her help." Hinata smiled as a servant poured some wine. "As for the bodyguards, Raven you may already know, and her sister Maria will be your bodyguards. The next one is Tachibana Jinchiyo. She a very rare female samurai. She will be in overall command of the cartel. As for the others, I haven't heard back from them yet." "Tell me about Jinchiyo," asked Hinata. "She very strong-willed, determined, a powerful fighter, and a believer women can be as strong as men and good with right hand, really good with right hand." Naruto chuckled at the memory of meeting her. "Is there something you're not telling me?" asked Hinata. "Well, the thing is, I fought her once, and we sort of fell off a cliff. When I came to, Jinchiyo was badly wounded and I had to undress her to tend her wounds," muttered Naruto. "Oh, were her breasts bigger than mine?" asked Hinata, causing Naruto to face slammed into the ground along with a few servant and ninja joined Naruto in kissing the earth. Hinata was giggling as Naruto picked himself up. "That was mean. I know, besides you wouldn't have done anything with Jinchiyo, did you?" said Hinata in tone that said, "I will hurt you badly." No, I had to run for my life seeing as Jinchiyo wasn't too pleased with the undressing," said Naruto, waving his hands. "Tried to tell the story. After she settled down and I got her sword away from her, I told her I saved her life, and by saving her life on her Honu she vowed to serve under my banner, and being a clan leader the entire Tachibana clan changed sides with them on my side. They helped end the campaign against one of the warlords a few months earlier." Hinata nodded. Both Naruto and Hinata talk about themselves for hours before heading to bed, holding each other in their sleep, because tomorrow was going to be hectic. In another part of the empire, Kumo prepared to attack one of the larger, more heavily defended towns in the empire before hitting the city where the shogun's seat of power is at, knowing that nothing can stand up against 2-tailed beasts, or so they thought. Smoke rises from the burning buildings as the surviving members of a western samurai clan were forced to kill before their captors. The men and the few women that fought were separated from the women and elders too old to fight, along with the children. The ninja who had taken them bore the mark of Kumo. Strolling though the broken gates is the wreckage. His brother was sitting on the wall scribbling in a small notebook as a blonde-haired woman leaned against the wall with disinterest look on her face, idly poking at a cast-aside helmet with her foot. Ei stands before his assembled army of ninjas made up of elite jounin and Anbu along with Kumo 2 Jinchuriki. "That damn snake better be right about Byakugan user," muttered Ei. A good number of his ninjas were dead already. This plan was a big gambit not only to finally gain the famed Byakugan but to blunt a major threat has been allowed to grow unchecked. The West had been warring for many years but become united in under 6 years meant only thing a warlord who defeated his rivals and controlled their combined armies will no doubt look to the east for new lands to expand it into. Iai will never allow harm to come to his homeland. As long as his heart beats he would protect it. Then when his business is finishing here Konoha will be dealt with. Both Iwa and Oto were on a joint front pushing though the Empire's southern flank and laid waste to anything and anyone in their path to instill fear of the East's mighty hidden villages and break the West's will to fight before they can bring their armies to bear. As Kumo carved a path west using their 2 Jinchuriki towards the Empire's capital linking up with Iwa and Oto to assault the city with the combined force and show the so-called Shogun the might of the hidden villages. So far everything was moving smoothly. His forward raiding parties had killed patrols or silent outposts along the border, and the few large forces of ninja and samurai that attack were dealt with easily thanks to his little brother and Yujito. Now only that large city that stand before Kumo before they can move on towards the imperial capital. Staring down at the prisoners Iai was thinking about what to do with them, and how to use them to benefit Kumo. "Excuse me," spoke an elder man who soon grunted as a Kumo nin guarding the prisoners backhands the elder. "Do not speak to the rakeage dog," snapped the guard as the elder was supported by one of the younger men next using his own body. Iai watched as the old man grunted and pushed himself off the young man bald-headed with 2 long scars, one across his forehead, and another right along his left eye that required the eye to covered by an eye patch. Spiting out the blood that pooled in his mouth, "Boy, I've been hit by ogres, that little tap is nothing to me." The Kumo nin was about to kill the old man. "Stop, let him speak," order Iai. He saw the look of a man who faced death many times before and wasn't afraid of dying was something Iai can respect. Thought the ogre remark was odd. Ogres are only spoken in folk tales, right? But Iai had more important things to do, and the odd statement forgotten for the matter at hand. "Thank you, Raikage Dano. It's good to see the younger generation is willing to hear from an elder. Whatever, old man, you have a look on you that I respect. Now speak your piece," stated Iai. "I lived for a long time, lived though 4 wars, and having borne several sons and daughters that I regretfully had outlived in those wars save for my younger daughter and grandchildren," said the elder looking to where the women and children were grouped together. They were silent, as was the children. This kind of unnerved few Kumo nin. Normally there would be a lot of crying and begging, but this lot not a peep save for a pained grunt from the men with wounds, or the odd cough. "Is there a point to this?" said Iai. "Well, I wonder if you thought on what you will stand to lose when you face the Shogun," said the elder. Iai blink. "He lose impossible, he was strongest, and he never loses. I stand to gain a lot after I break the Shogun with my bare hands after I'm be taking what's left of this clan back to Kumo, because your gene and bloodline will make a fine addition to my hidden village after your young ones are trained into Kumo ninja," said Iai. The mothers held their children a little tighter. Even when taken by surprise, this clan managed to put up a fight when samurai, moving faster than most eyes can track, had cut down a number of his ninja before his brother plowed, though the main causing his own brand of mayhem, and allowed the rest to storm the compound. This act alone made Iai desire to integrate this powerful bloodline into Kumo. The elder remained silent, a clear sign that he had said his piece. This annoyed Iai, but he dismissed it, and ordered the all women and children be placed in the compound basement, and the fighters tied to training posts in the courtyard they be collected on his return. Iai was about to order his ninjas to move out when a voice got his attention. "Let me go, Tem," shouted a young woman's voice as 2 Kumo were dragging one of the village people from that fortified town a few miles from the compound. Iai had sent a few teams to bottle up the town's militia, killing a few guards and using exploding note with the odd right jutsu keep the militia from being a problem. He grunted Iai and turned to see what his ninja had grabbed. When Iai turned around, never saw the smirk on the elder's face or on the other samurai. Their help had arrived. Iai brow rose as 2 of his ninja would drag a struggling young woman. Now this wasn't what surprised him, it was the cat-like tail and ears, seeing they were too real looking to be fake. "Raikage-sama, we found this girl," spoke one of the ninjas. "This girl has a name," Baka yelled. The young woman. "Shut up," yelled the first ninja, as Iai looked at her, and brushing aside some of her hair much to her dislike. "They're attached to where a normal ear should be," thought Iai, and that tail was no doubt real as well, and he wasn't about to strip a woman to make sure. "She may have a bloodline trait," spoke the other. "What the fuck is a bloodline trait? Can't you Bakas tell a yoki from a human?" snarled the woman. "I thought yoki were big ugly monsters," said the first ninja. "Big ugly monsters like that over-muscled meathead," remarked the woman and gestured to Iai. Before Iai can respond, his brother made himself known. "Yo, too's she more catty than you rap, Killer Bee," nudging the blonde, "and no way she faking those ears and freaky cat tail." B yelled Iai. He hated Killer Bee's rap. "I thought I told you not to rap," said Iai, glaring at his little brother. "You say my rap is some crime, yet you know I still do because but nothing can stop the ever-rapping Bee," rapped Killer Bee as he takes off running with Iai hot on his 8 octopus tailed holding ass to dealt out his brand of brotherly love, punishment, to his annoying brother. Yujito stared at the cat woman, who noted her staring. "What, you never seen a yoki before?" snapped the woman, making Yujito step back, and she put on a cold mask. "You better learn to hold that tongue in your mouth, or you might lose it," said Yujito, but her mind was worried. She had a bad feeling in her gut. Raikage finally got his brother headlock and yelling at him when he remembered why he was in the west. Soon his ninja were moving at high speed towards their next target. After being shoved into the basement along with the woman and children, the catwoman demur changed bunch of Baka didn't even search me, she said with a smirk. The women knew the yoki very. She visited the compound a lot. Breathe out in relief. The cat Yoki stripped off her home-made outfit to show what was hidden under it. Wearing a mesh undershirt with no sleeves with a pair of shorts and a weapon pouch strapped to her back smaller and flatter than the standard weapon pouch, it held fewer items and weapons than the one used in the field, is manly suited for undercover work. The village near the compound was in fact small ninja village. The shogun had implemented a bold plan, having been trained in ninja and samurai ways, knew that both complemented each other when working together in battle. For every larger ninja or samurai clan, a nin or ronin clans would be settled nearby and provide extra protection to local populace and fill in any gaps the already established one's skills lacked. It was problem for some people having nin or ronin anywhere near them, but the plan was proving it worth, seeing the bandits that used to roam the west have been thinned out greatly when the plan had started. Now villagers can move outside their village wall and not be jumped by highwaymen or slavers, gotten many to give the plan time to run its course. The cat Yoki assured the families that her fellow ninja haven't abandoned them, but they were outnumbered and outgunned, seeing 2 Jinchuriki and a high-level Kage with a small army of Jounin and Umbu, putting everyone to work mainly to help keep them from being worried. Getting a defense line from whatever had been laying around, ever found some old pole-armed weapons to arm the women who'd been guard maidens to this province's daimyo wives. At one time they could take 1 or 2 ninjas easily if they ganged up, but there was no way they handled 12 or more ninjas. She was their first, and hopefully only, line of defense. Hidden in the trees, units of camouflage-suited ninjas waited for the main body of Kumo ninja to leave and for their scout to report on the happening inside the samurai compound. A few hours after the wreckage left the compound, left 12 4-man teams and the wounded behind. Soon a few Kumo ninja decided to start the breeding program early, headed for the basement. 2 lechers were greeted by kunai being thrown at the throats, as the rest got over their shock as a battle-ready, barely dressed kunoichi cat girl was standing in their way, hissing. At much like a blonde-haired kunoichi, they know, holding a tanto and kunai in her hands, ready to defend the women and children to the death. Behind her was a line of battle-ready guard maidens, polearms out and in battle-ready stances, as the remaining women and children hid behind a wall, boxes and basement junk. Even the odd boy or girl's head would pop up to cheer for the kunoichi or their mothers on before getting yanked back down. Not the defenseless women you thought we'd be, said cat Yoki as the Kumo rushed her. Hey hey, cried out the kunoichi and met the Kumo ninjas in the middle of the hall. Over the sounds of battle, the wall soon got its first coating of blood, followed by several more splatters of blood. Outside, the remaining Kumo ninjas were under attack. The first were killed by crossbow bolts or kunai before the alarm could be raised. Camouflage-suited ninjas were already striking down more Kumo ninjas. A few Western ninjas were killed, but rapidly outnumbered by the slain Kumo ninja piling up. Soon any Kumo nin still alive or outnumbered surrender, knowing their Kage would return and punishes them of their insolence. Those poor Kumo fools. After being the men who were tied up outside were ran into the compound, fearing for the worst, found a wounded cat Yoki lend aegis the wall, being tented by several women along the hall. The cooling bodies of Kumo ninja laid in pools of their own blood as the guard maidens pointed their weapons at the sole living Kumo ninja, who sweated a lot, seeing as a good number of those blades were aimed at his crotch. Cat Yoki turned to the new arrives and gave a cheeky smile and cheerful said, mission completed. They never got near the door before she laid her head back aegis the wall and fell asleep. Naruto was not having a good morning, getting up before Hinata and was going to get some work done. Messages had just arrived reporting of major attacks by Eastern ninja and of tailed beasts leading one of the 2 major thrusts into Empire's borders. Hinata had been awakened up by the noise and found Naruto writing down official orders and sending them off by number of servants. Hinata glazed over one of papers on the desk, her eyes widened at the report. The entire eastern areas of the Empire had been overrun by IWA Kumo, and Oto thought Hinata as Naruto was reading the reports on what was happened. I really don't understand why, said Naruto. I can guess what the snake team wants. There are a number of items he would have kill over. Naruto gestured over to where he keeps his armor and weapons. IWA, I believe, would want to take out a major threat. Hinata spoke up. IWA has always been warlike. Nodding, Naruto thought for a moment Kumo would attack to take out a major threat as well, but they could be after you. Naruto pointed at Hinata. Hinata stiffly nodded. She still fears that Kumo would try again, and there would be no one to rescue her. Sorry for bringing that up, said Naruto as he hugs Hinata, and believed it. I never allowed that to happen. I know. Do you remember the first time we met? It was before we became genin. Naruto looked ashamed. He was very stupid that he had a friend, a soon lover, all those years ago right under his nose. Hinata smiled. It's alright. I was very sad. My mother had died a year early and my father became harsh and cold. After school I was being bullied by a few older boys and they started to make fun of me. Then you came and defend me, but you gotten beaten up for it. After the older boys decided it wasn't worth their time, you asked if I was okay. All I could do was nod. You smile, and for the first time I didn't feel sad or alone. Seeing your smile saved from a life full of sadness. And we were only 4 at the time. You stated that you protect everyone that needed help, never giving up. I used to always cry and give up. I made many wrong turns, but you helped me find the right path. Naruto-kun, I always chased after you. I wanted to catch up to you. I want to walk beside you all the time. I just wanted to be with you. You changed me. Your smile is what saved me. That is why I'm not afraid to die protecting you. Because I love you. Naruto felt tears in his eyes. Very rarely did he cry. I love you too, whispered Naruto. Hugged Hinata. I love you too, said Hinata. The moment was ruined when Raven slammed open. Naruto dried his eyes and saw the look on her face. What happened? Lord Kenshin and my mother have arrived with a number of refugees and our sister is badly wounded. She may never be a ninja again, said Raven, her voice full worried. Naruto steeled his face and followed Raven with Hinata right behind him. Naruto fist clenched. He vowed to stop this. Seeing the refugees in the courtyard, his servants were already aiding each refugee, having done this before and did not need to be ordered to do this. Moving towards destination, he noted that Hinata kneeled down to a crying girl. Seeing that she was all alone, moving besides her, Hinata wiping away the girl's tears. My lord, spoke Kenshin. Naruto turned to the dragon warlord. Kenshin, it's good to see you despite the overall threat. Indeed, my lord, to be honest, I thirst for the day of battle that will dawn soon. I and my nemesis will rejoice. Naruto smiled. Kenshin like to match what's his nemesis. Then you shall, Kenshin, when the time is deemed right. Nodding, Kenshin then frowned a bit more than normal. Their village was destroyed along with the fort protecting the area, and there were tracks of a massive snake. Judging from the amount of blood on the ground, close to half the villages were most likely. Kenshin trailed off. Naruto fist tightened. I see that snake will pay dearly for this, muttered Naruto. His anger was raging, but Hinata came up to him with that girl she was comforting. Naruto noted the fox-like tail showed the girl was a fox yoki. She had brown fur tail instead of red like Kyubi and had a white tip. She hasn't seen her parents. Are there any other groups coming? Hinata asked, hoping, but deep down she knew this girl was all alone, much like herself and Naruto, a life no one should live. This is the only group, stated Kenshin. Hinata heart sank. Her family was very small from what I was able to get out of her, and the attackers were very brutal to the yoki because they were different, said Hinata while she was surprised on learning about an entire race living in the West along with every kind of demon, oni, and spirits. She saw how similar they were humans and wouldn't hate them. Kenshin was silent. Naruto frowned but then smiled. I guess we should take care of her, said Naruto, getting the little fox to look at him. But my mommy and daddy, she whispered. They had to go away and you can't go to them for a long time, said Hinata. They're dead, aren't they, said the fox girl, shocking all three. I saw them with a lot of others people from my home in the field before some scary red-eyed man made that big snake come out from a really puffy cloud, finished the little yoki. Hinata gasped as Naruto's eyes became slits. They knew who scary red-eyed man's name. Uchiha Sasuke. In Konoha. Not what I thought was going to happen, remarked. Everyone nearly pissed themselves at the flash, thinking that they had been blow up only to find themselves alive with a grinning. Kyubi had bad feeling in gut, and was not from being in Konoha. She was having a blast seeing their faces. You should see your faces, said Kyubi, wondering how the picture will turn out when she feel her danger instincts yell out to her. Before anyone can speak or think, several root appeared and chains were wrapped around Kyubi. Even two ninja of her escort drawn their swords and held them against her throat. Sorry, why Kyubi Bai-sama, said one of them, snuggling to speak. Kyubi just eye her eyes spotted the two hidden roots using a Yamanaka mind jutsu. Inoichi knew the signs of person under one his clan jutsus, and was shocked. He knew that there weren't anyone from his clan station in the room. I can finally clam what long since been denied, stated Danzo, sitting up clearly showing Sharingan eye from behind those bandages. Danzo, what hell, Tsunade? Be silent, you washed up drunk, snapped Danzo. For too long this village has been weak, lead soft leaders, but now with the power of the Kyubi under my control I will change Konoha into the military power it should have been. Now I command you Kyubi to remove the two councils, ordered Danzo. The civilian council and elders tired to plead for Danzo to spare after supporting him behind the Hokage's back, and the clan council ready to fight the Kyubi. Soon as the chains around Kyubi fell, everyone held their breaths waiting for Sharingan control Kyubi to attack. Only she didn't. Kyubi calmly remained standing, idly checking her claws. Why are you just standing there? I command you to attack, yelled Danzo. You didn't say please, muttered Kyubi. Looking up at Danzo, her eyes glowed and she flickered from sight. The guards who were under mind control toppled over, holding their stomachs but were still alive. Kyubi was keeling after giving a dual elbow strike to her mind control men. Do you really believe that you can control me using you transplanted Sharingan eye, or don't believe that I didn't learn from the last two times I was oh so happily under control by a Sharingan user, said Kyubi as she walks towards Danzo. Danzo had made a grave error and just thrown away his pawns too early. Root attack. For root attack, Kyubi. Two root draw their swords and attack the fox yoki, weaving under the sword strikes easily. Kyubi molds her churka to her hands and grabs the nearest root by his head. Iron Claw Soul Crusher, snarled Kyubi, using one arm lifted root by his head and smashes the root into the floor, shaking the Hokage tower to its foundation. The other sword-armed root attacked Kyubi while her back was turned. Chakra Claw, yelled Kyubi, lashing out her free arm at the other root. An aura of red chakra extends out from her arm in the form of a clawed hand and swats the root neem like a rag doll into and through a wall. More root arrived and were attacked by Kakashi's team, and the Umbu along with the Western ninja and samurai attacked the other root with pension attacks as Danzo tried to unseal the metal locks on his bandaged arm, but Kyubi was already on him, knowing if Danzo did unseal that arm there would be a pain in the ass to fight, and she wasn't in the mood to fight an all-out battle. Drawing a kunai from her hidden back pouch, Kyubi flashed hands while still holding the kunai before calling out Futon Pressure Blade. Why would Kyubi needed to use weapons? She has near unlimited churka but was now mortal, and a flesh and blood body has its limits. Wind churka had been infused into the kunai, making the cut edge longer and sharper. Kyubi removed Danzo's bandaged arm in one clean slice. Just as the arm lands on the floor, it transformed into a tree, and growing at a fast rate. One had to move out of the growth. Even Kyubi was shocked at this. As the tree burst through the roof of the Hokage tower, as the dust settled, everyone could see the tree sported a human face and 7 Sharingan eyes along its trunk. Uncle Hashirama, said Tsunade wide-eyed after seeing the face. Hashirama what? How? Kyubi shocked at seeing the second man who had controlled her before sealing her up into his wife Uzumaki Mito after he had beaten her at the Valley of the End. I'm thinking that a Cretan snake had a hand in this mockery of a tree, Kyubi said with a snarl, touching Hashirama face, and felt the calmness of Hashirama Mokutan had over her. And her kin, out of all the humans only the Uzumaki and Hashirama have my respect. Kyubi looked to see that her escorts and the Umbu had taken care of other roots in the room. She turned her eyes down at the broken old man she just maimed and was going to do a few very bad things to him in the next few seconds. So old man, know why you weren't made Hokage, said Kyubi. Danzo was like a warlord, destroying, hurting and taking from people without care. She had 7 warlord died by her hands, or paws in some cases. Damn you demon bitch, you should have been a weapon, snarled Danzo, but cried out in pain as Kyubi jabs 2 fingers into Danzo's Sharingan eye and plucked it out. At least I use my own skills instead of implanting body parts of others, Kyubi said plainly before kicking Danzo face, followed by curved stomping on his keen cap, and lastly, grabbing a hold of the elder man's arm and with a quick pull dislocate, then breaking his good arm. Letting the man go, Kyubi noted that he faded from the amount of pain she had dealt. Good, his cries of pain were hurting her ears, crushing the eye, much to the protests of the civilian council and elders, but a directed blast of ki shut them up. Oh, Hyuga-san, I'll be coming by later to get my family's property, said Kyubi, spiking her ki at Hyuga clan head. I may be a member by name, and you may try to say I shouldn't be involved because I speak for the empire, but after my meeting with the Hokage, it's clan business between another clan, be it with Konoha walls or from another village or nation, as long as it doesn't involve the rest of the village or nation. And I really doubt the Hokage or the Land of Fire would intervene, stated Kyubi, knowing Hyuga Ridge doctrines focused on their gentle fist. Gentle fists may be powerful but can be rendered useless by a number of ways, like their eyes, as she did just that earlier. They never judged Naruto or myself for that. I will gladly repay that kindness tenfold. Besides, they trust me to resolve this matter in a timely fashion, knowing I don't waste time beating around the bush, and they didn't want this village trying to convert one of their number to join by any means, said Kyubi, making a few flinch. They had done it in the past without a second thought. Even the ninja elders were unnerved at Kyubi's knowledge of their laws and secrets. Hashirama never forced any clan to join or treated ninja with blood like breeding cows or steel jutsus, and all Hokage from the 1st, 2nd to the 5th punished any clans that did any of those crimes harshly. When they found out the 4th himself depopulated 3 clan of half their numbers for doing with his wife's help because of Kumo had kidnapped her for her special chakras. Sakura thought back her talks to some of their guards and few tense talks with Kyubi herself. Kyubi guards had no bloodlines to speak of, but very strong were handpicked. Because of it, seeing Kyubi the bigger target, Sakura felt sick over year, had to take prisoners. Some of them were of the female kind, some even had bloodlines. Oh, Kami, gasped Sakura, having added everything up. Kakashi held the girl's arm. I made sure they were protected, spoke Kakashi, knowing what Sakura was thinking. Sakura nodded, still very shaken at learning one of Konoha's dark secrets. You're not going anywhere, demon, said Umbu as few others started to surround Kyubi group. You may have gotten rid of that traitor, but you still will pay for attacking, Konoha shouted. Kyubi guards got into combat stances. Around her aegis the Umbu who fought by their side mere moments ago. In the west there were a few unspoken rules of combat, many followed. Even in the most chaotic of battles, one when rivals or an enemy had to fight side by side, you don't attack to your temporary ally right after the battle, no matter how weak. Even the ninja clans followed this rule. Those who did were treated as bandits and killed. Kyubi knew her guards were highly offended because of Konoha actions, but stayed weapons. The air was thick as tension builds up. Lady Hokage gets your house a ninja in order before someone starts a war right after an attempted coup, stated Kyubi in an annoyed tone, and no matter how much she wanted to pant the room with blood, she can't. But Konoha wasn't making it easy. Her men would fight as would she to the death, but a fight that they would lose sure. Kyubi can deal out a lot of hurt before she goes down, and Naruto would most likely level what's left after. Tsunade looked at Kyubi, who merely crossed her arms. He's very much alive and is, said Kyubi, but was cut off. Lady Hokage, that thing needs to pay for all, yelled Tsum. Up your damn mouth, Kiba snarled, shocking his mother. What hell has gotten into you? That thing need to pay, snarled Tsum. Like Naruto, said Kiba. That thing destroyed his soul long ago. His soul? Then why the hell did we seen him in the same room with her, shouted Kiba. Dogs always trying to see who can bark the loudest. I always told Kushina dogs make poor allies, remarked Kyubi. Don't you mock me, Kushina was my friend and you kill her. Kyubi looked away, never would have killed Kushina or her husband if given another chance, but I was mindless at the time, like all animals lash out when cornered. Tsum was about to jump Kyubi and rip her throat out, but Kyubi lashed out her arm and slammed Tsum against a wall as a churka hand kept her pinned. Kyubi let Tsum fall to the floor. Naruto was my jailer but freed me, granting me my own body. Before Naruto, Kushina was my jailer. Before her, Mito held me. Before that, Hashirama had bound me to the forest of death, said Kyubi. Sakura eyes widened, understanding Kyubi had lived in Konoha at its founding. Everyone stand down now, said Tsunade. But, do as I say or I'll rip your heads off, shouted Tsunade, staring at Kyubi. Tsunade look away from Kyubi before turning to Kakashi. In my office now, she stated before order the Umbu to arrested Danzo, the civilian council and elders. Troublesome, muttered a older lazy bum and stared at Kyubi, tail that swayed with her hips at each step. A lot of married men found themselves staring at her ass for a few seconds and had to stop looking in fear of their wives finding out, or Kyubi for that matter, the female kind of troublesome. Why thank you, replied Kyubi. Everyone forgot about those ears. Back to the empire. Maria groaned in pain as she awoke as a few healers were tending to her arms. She was in her room at the palace. "Hey sis, you look terrible," said Raven, grasping Maria's hand. "I'm still the cuter one," remarked Maria. Her sister held back a unladylike snort. "You had us worried when you collapsed like that," spoke Erla. Maria was more prone to charge headlong into danger, while Raven tends to overthink and leaving herself open to danger, but when together they balanced each other out. "So where's that cute samurai that saved me?" asked Maria, a bit high from the pain medicine. Both Erla and Raven's eyebrows arched, and both hummed in thought at Myra's statement. "He had creating duties that needed to be attended to and had to leave with Lord Kenshin," said Naruto. "I'll send a message to Kenshin that you would like to see your cute samurai hero," said Naruto, but said your cute samurai hero in a light mocking tone and laughed at Maria's reddening cheeks. "You better not threaten him," stated Maria. "I wouldn't do that," said Naruto. "Uncross your fingers and say that," shouted Maria. Naruto rubbed the back of his head while the healers only shakes their heads at the Shogun's sibling bonding. Right, no threatening boyfriends, rats," replied Naruto, but muttered the last part and earned a scowl from Maria. With a heavy sigh, Naruto had to get mad as I need the Shogun. "Fun aside, I need your report," stated Naruto. Erla and Maria nodded. After finishing, Naruto Churka was spiking. "Damn it, I knew when the team from Konoha that problems would start throwing themselves at the west. The only good thing that came is Hinata-chan." "Hinata-chan, oh, I remember you talking about her," said Maria, and tried to push herself up, but her only good arm wasn't responding. Naruto kicked himself. Erla looked at the healers. The leader shakes his head, causing Erla to bow her head. "Sister, why my good arm numbed?" asked Maria. Her family shared the same grim look, and Maria felt a pit of ice formed in her stomach. Moments later, a loud wail echoed throughout the hall, startling many people. In another room, Hinata had put Yui, the Yoki fox child, to sleep after learning the girl's name from the remaining village elder, who was very grateful to Hinata. He told her he knew what the child was going, though have lost his parents at a very young age. He one of the few to be taken by another family in the time of the warlords. Those that weren't taken usually died or just disappeared. "I may not be your real mother. Maybe in time you may see me as one," whispered Hinata and kissed Yui's head. Hinata wondered if she had what it takes to be a mother. A wail gotten Hinata out of her thoughts, making sure Yui was fine, left to see what happened. A few tears ran down Yui's face and muttered "mommy" in her sleep. The forces of Iwa and Oto pushed there, though a forest, believing they would hidden from the Empire. But beings who made their homes in this forest began to awaken, or watch the invaders weary. "They're not from around here, their markings are unfamiliar. Invaders at what they are," shout a voice, causing many to speak. "I said attack, my tribe is ready, these humans will know our wrath, who will stand with me," roared another voice. Many agreed. "I will speak to the Shogun before any action is taken," said a commanding voice. "Why, for all we know he sent them," snarled a voice. "Always jumping, never thinking, you should just stay in spot, and just think," said a wise old voice. "Do I look like I have leaves growing out my ears?" snarled the being. "It would be an improvement," muttered the old voice. "What was that?" snarled the voice, but a blast of fire prevented any fight to start. "Then if he did, he will feel Oni's wrath till I return. You will stay yourselves," spoke the commanding voice. "Fine, but I will attack if they attack me or my tribe," snarled the voice. The uprooted Awe moving, never staying still, sighed the old voice as something massive moved into the trees. "Just keep watch and make sure they or the other don't start fight," said the commanding voice. Hinata walked down the hallway of the palace and found Naruto leaning against a wall opposed from a closed door. As she got closer, she heard sobbing and muffled voices. Moving closer to Naruto, Hinata touched his shoulder. "What happened?" I heard a loud scream, asked Hinata. "That team Sasuke had hurt Maria, my sister, bad, really bad," muttered Naruto. Maria didn't take the news very well. "What did Sasuke do?" he didn't, asked Hinata, trailing off at the end. "No, that didn't happen. Besides, Sasuke wouldn't know what to do if he had," said Naruto, making fun of Sasuke's sexual orientation or lack of one. "Lighting chakra doesn't mix well with shadow chakra, seeing as Raven's clan has the ability to control shadows beyond what the Nara can do," stated Naruto. "So the lighting chakra that Sasuke used messed up Maria's chakra system," added what that four-eyed prick Kabuto compounded the problem. "He used chakra scalpels to cripple her other arm," finished Naruto. Hinata nods. "Raven spar with her a few days ago using their bloodlines, and Hinata learned that the chakra paths along the Roth arms are very delicate, a trade-off when the shadows are a part of their chakra network. Nara stretch their shadows limited to the amount of chakra they can stretch. Roth can extend their very chakra network in their arms into the shadows, even merged into them." "Have the doctors tried using healing jutsus?" asked Hinata. "Normally yes, but Myra has a few chakra point ruptured when the team used lighting chakra on her," said Naruto, but Hinata had cut him off. "Oh, that not good. If those points are not healed soon, Maria will lose," Hinata said, but Naruto finished her statement. "Full use of her chakra and crippled," finished Naruto, and hits the wall with his fist, making a hole. That action caused Hinata to jump a little. "With all this power, I still can't protect my loved ones," said a bitter Naruto. "The healers here don't have good chakra control, and those that do wouldn't be able to make it here before the damage becomes permanent. I may be able to help her," whisper Hinata. "What?" Naruto turned to Hinata with hope and prayed he heard right. "I can heal Maria. I can force out the lighting chakra. Gentle fist can seal and unseal chakra points, even repaired," said Hinata. "You are greatest girl I have ever known," said Naruto, and hugs Hinata who eat when she gotten spin around. "What?" said Hinata, a bit red-faced, entered the room and introduced herself. Naruto was about to join Hinata when a servant ran up to him. "Naruto-sama, you have guests that request a meeting," spoke the man. "Tell them I'm in the middle of trying to defend the empire and having to deal with a major family problem right now. I understand, but she is one of your special guests, one from the shore near the fish pond, said the servant, and bowed again. Naruto moaned, and palmed his face. This mess is getting better and better every minute, muttered Naruto, as he made a clone to inform Hinata, his mother and sisters, of special guests that had arrived. In the garden, 2 samurai tried not to shift around or stare directly at one of Shogun's special guests, the kind that tends to appear without warning. An Oni, a very female one, seeing the amount of skin cleavage, hips, and legs the cut her dress showed off. Her beauty is a mix of a human woman and the inhuman, like the horns on the sides of her head with dark green scales along her legs and arms. Sato, I wish your visit came at more peaceful times, said Naruto when he arrived, making the 2 guards stand at attention. Sato turned and gave a small bow. So you know about invaders had entered the forest of shrouding mist. Yes, my scouts have reported Iwa and Oto making their way to your home, nor was it intended, spoke Naruto, as they both walked along the garden path. Iwa and Oto? The hidden villages from the east. I was informed they were warring with Konoha, stated Sato. Their invasion of my home had awakened many demons and spirits from their winter sleep a month early. The elder tree sprit moss bark is keeping eye on young Fire Fang in case he or others from dose something rash. Then by all means let them something to eject Iwa and Oto from your home. We only do not fight human wars nor the spirits. Demons may like to fight, but not under a human, you know that, said Sato. Turned to face the Shogun, looking very cross. Naruto raised both hands in a pacifying gesture to Sato. Oni were known to be powerful but peaceful and very slow to anger, to downright terrifying when angered. Backed up with knowledge predating the hidden villages, even the sage of 6 paths when he was young learned how to mold one's inner energy and control 6 prime elements from the Oni that became known widely as chakra and jutsu to promote peace or fight wars at a time when demons prey on humans and chaos ruled the world. I don't want your people and those who dwelled in the forest of shrouding mist to fight. I have a few score to settle with Iwa and Oto. They must pay for the blood they had shed, said Naruto in an even tone as Sato listened. They destroyed a peaceful village and butchered the yoki and humans who lived there just for being different, and harmed my sister. I will not tolerate such acts, nor will the people. I want them blooded before I finish them off, finished Naruto, his voice hard as steel, staring into Sato's eyes. I believe you. Had you lied I would have strike you dead, spoke Sato, her left hand claws extended, making the guards draw their weapons. Stand down, barked Naruto to his loyal and overprotected followers as Sato's claw went to their normal size. I expected nothing less from Oni, who trust was betrayed. I am truly sorry that you and the others were dragged in this. Thank you, Naruto, spoke Sato. Bow her head a little. Naruto pulled out an envelope. But be careful, Oto's leader, and the other 2 names in this note are very deadly even by the West standards. Would love to have Oni like yourself on a table to study, or tired to take your power for their own, said Naruto. Known that snake fag would drop his pants and bend over to get a Oni demon, or a spirit to study. Sato nods and takes the as they walk up to a small shrine. I sense you're more at peace. When we last met, asked Sato. There was some turmoil within him, but it was a fading fast. Naruto smiled and explained, getting Sato to laugh. I should meet this Hinata next time I visit. May you both have many children and long lives together, said Sato, causing Naruto to blush. Later both Sato and Naruto neared to where their walk would end. I need you to delay them for one day. My warlords have a plan to remove their allies' biggest trump card, said Naruto, and explained the plan to Sato. I shall depart them and inform the others that we should provide incentive to Iwa and Oto to leave a day later. I pray for your victory, may it be swift and total, said Sato, and reverse summoned herself home. Sato was engulfed in a cloud and sucked into the open door of the shrine. Closing the shrine door, Naruto headed back to the palace, leaving the guards to their devices. This is going to be a hell of a story to my kids, their father seeing a real Oni, stated one. Unha, remarked the other. Konoha, post Kyubi return. Kyubi sat facing the Hokage, who glared at the yoki. Give me one reason why I shouldn't have you though in a cell and be put on trial for crimes, aegis Konoha. Kyubi eyebrow arc. So that's her game. She thinks I'm the brains behind Naruto, and thinking I wouldn't want that happening I would have to spill what I know. Well, she doesn't know. Who is she dealing with? Oh, so you think I'm willing to surrender or get anything out of me regarding the Shogun? Kyubi said, not happing. You forgetting you have to battle the whole village and you are now mortal, said Tsunade. Damn, she not intimidated? Well, she is the 9 tails. You wouldn't last 5 minutes in combat with me and this village will lose a large number of its ninja in taking me down, Kyubi retorted. Naruto knows that Konoha is very powerful and you wouldn't want to risk fighting Konoha in an all-out war, said Tsunade. Who says that you were powerful? If I remember you came to us for help, but now you're saying would be Konoha be a threat to the empire? Konoha may be strong, but Naruto can destroy Konoha, even its very image, without even trying, said Kyubi leading back. How would he do that? The little idiot can't do a basic ninja skills, said Tsunade with a smirk. Ha, got her now. Naruto wasn't the brightest. What would he do? Cause a ramen shortage? Oh please, Naruto isn't the dead last you thought him to be. I know lifetimes of knowledge along with Erla, his and my mother, in a way help fill in the holes Konoha left in his education. You're no better than the rest, you old hag, said Kyubi. She told me to look beyond the titles to see the person behind it. See the way you acted right now, you shame your clan. That wiped the smirk off her face, thought Kyubi. How dare you, shouted Tsunade, getting to her feet. Kyubi did the same and both started to produce ki. No, how dare you thinking you can browbeat me or Naruto, the Shogun of the West, who though his own blood and sweat united an entire land, something thought impossible by many, and he did it in less than 3 years, and for the 3 years the empire has grown using his will and determination. And those swirls markings Konoha ninja proudly displays are Uzumaki. Even the your headband mark was a gift from Uzumaki in a show of friendship that can be easily broken and demanded to be removed, as the Shogun has connections to make Konoha life living hell. So stop trying to force me to talk, you just hurt yourself, said Kyubi in a neutral voice. Tsunade eyes widened as she sat back down. Kyubi smiled and sat back down, crossing her legs. Tsunade was stunned. There wasn't a single lie in Kyubi words or the seals hidden in this room would have alerted her to any lie. Naruto can take the very identity of Konoha away. Is our business done, or would you like to drunk you last few brain cells you got left away? I still wonder what was Naruto was thinking and bring you back, spoke Kyubi, getting up and heads for the door. Oh, I'm willing to forget this whole misunderstanding because it's not worth of my time, said Kyubi. You clearly believed everything can go back to normal. It will not that go. Look, Baka was a mask to protect himself. Only one person saw the hurt beside me, and she is with him now. Will he ever forgive us, asked Tsunade. Never. The old man Hokage made mistakes. Granted, his wife died on the day I had been freed from Naruto mother, and grief can make anyone do something they would regret, and the old man up to his death tried to fix his mistake, but for you and this village you haven't even started to make up for a lifetime of shit this village had put Naruto though, said Kyubi. Tsunade broke down crying. After Kyubi left she had messed up big time. Kyubi group walked though Konoha all the way. People looked at Kyubi in fear. She dared them to try anything. Coward, said Kyubi loud enough to make several villagers back away. Strike a boy who is the powerless jailer, and they are all high and mighty, but faced with the prisoner who has the power they cowered away, muttered Kyubi. Word had gotten out that she was out and on the prowl. So far no one had tried to kill the demon fox yet, but there was a chance someone would try to. Kyubi hand curled. Kyubi-sama, muttered one of guards, noting movement on the roof. Yes, no, I can handle them. I don't get the time to put my skills to use. We will get involved if you have any trouble. We are your guard after all, said the samurai. But I am worried about the empire. I feel like something has happened and I'm not there to face it alongside the Shogun, said Kyubi. The Western Empire near the imperial capital. 3 days past. Kuma would arrived first at the appointed spot, but Iwa and Oto were held up for some reason. The Reikage decided to push on and bypassing the fortified city and make a drive to the imperial capital. Ei gave out a whistle seeing the imperial city. While it was a week or two of travel from the border, the city was well fortified and had its own full-time army to man the walls. But with his brother and Yujito at his side there would be nothing that can withstand their combined might. Look at the size of that wall, proclaimed a Kumo nin as the Kumo ninja stared at imperial city. Something not right here. We should have meant some kind of counterattack by now, Sam. We thought out loud until 3 days ago they encountered small groups that engaged them in hourly skirmishes that were beaten off. When Kumo 2 hosts engaged in battle, the Western attackers broke off and ran, which caused a few Kumo teams to get a bit cocky and perused, only to be drawn into an ambushed or an area with many hidden traps. Reikage gave orders not to give chase or he will beat them into the ground with his bare fists. I see that, no doubt that their best are hidden and waiting, said Ei. Can't detect any chakra from the city, or anything around a 10-meter zone outward, said a sensor ninja who was holding his head. Whatever jutsu was protecting the city was very powerful and didn't like his scans, and they were thrown back hard. I can't tell if it's a barrier or a detection blocker. Yujito didn't like this, nor Nibi, who relayed to her the two-tailed cat's own journey to the west. There were a lot of very powerful entities living in the west who can give even the nine-tailed fox a hard time. So far they hadn't entered any no lairs or territories that Nibi can recall, and most of them preferred the don't bother us, we don't bother you way of thinking. That Yujito is 100% fine with, and keeps this info to herself, knowing the Reikage would try to seal a few to make more Jinchuriki, and Hachibi would keep his big trap shut on. This as well, knowing B would blurt it out to his brother. In the palace, Naruto stands before the closet. Hinata offered to help and blushed seeing Naruto wearing a long-sleeved net shirt that showed off his muscles. Naruto puts on his armor, followed by the blade of the Demon King on his right side of his waist, held in place using a belt. The dragon sword came next. Naruto places the weapon behind his back, hidden from view when Naruto put on the sleeveless coat. Shortly Naruto was outfitted for battle. Hinata blushed. Naruto, the armor he now wore made him even more dashing. Ah, Hinata, you can still. No, Erla asked me to help and I am tired of being an easy mark for kidnapping, said Hinata. She had been taken ages her will to many times. It was time to make a stand. Naruto nodded. Alright, but I want you to wear this. I got your sizes, said Naruto, as he showed Hinata the armor designed for ninja. Thank you, spoke Hinata. She wasn't normally vain on what she wore. She preferred clothing that covered her body from the stares of others. The ninja armor came in 2 parts, a gray jumpsuit with a combat belt with a number of pouches for her weapons and supplies, and the waist and chest armor was deep purple. Hinata went behind a changing screen to put on her gear. A few minutes later she came out with a light blush on her cheeks. The jumpsuit fitted very snugly. Ah, Naruto-kun, how did you know my real sizes? Well, it wasn't real hard to find out after sleeping together, replied Naruto, making Hinata's cheeks redden some more. The door opened and a recovering Myra holding Yui's hand, though Myra's hands were still bandaged and had to wear a cast on her right arm. The kid here wanted to say goodbye, said Myra, and gave a light push to the little Yoki back to get her moving, seeing she was a little afraid at seeing Naruto in full armor. It okay, Yui-chan, come here, spoke Naruto, getting to one keen. Yui jumped up into his arm, giving him a hug. I want you both to wear these, whispered Yui, and pulled out 2 necklaces. It beautiful, but what are they? Asked Hinata, looking at the necklace. Those are spirit charms, they protect you from harm, said Myra. I never gave the sniff them Tio my, said Yui, and she started to cry. Shoo, it's alright, said Naruto as he pats Yui back. Hinata hugs them both as Myra watches. Yeah, I was very sure Kuma will come out on top knowing his brother and Yujito can level entire armies, so a show of power would humble this shogun to give in to his demands and take all the glory and have their very own Hyuga clan in Kumo. Reikage-sama, the main gate is opening. Yai turned his head to see a party exit the city under a white flag. Well, it like this shogun is weaker-willed than I thought. Yujito, be with me. If this shogun doesn't meet my demands, kill him, ordered Yai. Yujito sighed. Yes, Reikage-sama. B gave a half-hearted wave. He likes to fight, but not giving the other guy the chance to fight back didn't sit well with him. Both groups neared the Reikage. Saw Hinata smirk. This was going to be too easy. These are my demands, Shogun of the West, started Ei, but was cut off by a spiking of Ki from by his guest the Shogun. Demands, you dare demand anything after invading my lands and harm my people, shouted Naruto. Take a step towards Ei, who realized the Shogun was no older than 18 or more. Look here, boy, started Ei, but was cut off again by the Shogun. No, you look, you may have 2 Jinchuriki at your side is a threat to me, said Naruto, shocking the 3. A small threat, but a threat nevertheless. You think you can take what you want. Both B and Yujito looked annoyed being called a small threat. That right, boy, and at my command my Jinchuriki will level that city if you do not hand over the Hyuga woman and surrender to me, demanded Ei. Naruto looked at Hinata, then to Ei, and raised his middle finger at Ei. Fuck yourself, asshole. Ei looked ready to explode. Be Yujito, now I'll get the Hyuga, roared Ei as he throws off his Kage robes. B had 2 swords out ready to behead Naruto, as Yujito had a kunai out ready to stab Naruto's chest. Hinata and Raven leaped back from Ei, who lunged after them but was intercepted by the large samurai. Out of my way, stated Ei, and actives his right on armor, and punches at the large samurai, only for his punch to be blocked by the large spear. The samurai welded any electric shock from the punch had been redirected along the spear staff into the ground. You redirected the electric shock and used churka to protect your hands. Not bad, but I will not be stopped by the likes of you, said Ei before he launches a kick at the samurai head, only to be blocked by the shoulder armor, making a dent and causing the samurai to stumble a little, only to recover quickly, and swings his spear in a wide arc. Ei saw samurai tried to cut him, sure that his Raiten armor would protect him, only feel a sharp pain across his chest. Wide-eyed Ei jump away from the spear's swing arc to find he had a long cut along his upper chest. How did you do that, asked Ei. Nothing can pierce his armor, right? My dragon fly cutter is renowned for its sharpness. As you can see, my name is Honda Tadakatsu, and I'm your opponent in this battle. Tadakatsu spins his weapon over his head, then gotten into a ready stance with his spear pointed at Ei. The Shogun has given me the duty to stop the likes of you scum. Then prepare to face my wrath, shouted Ei, and charges at Tadakatsu, who meets his charge head on. Both Jinchuriki were nearly on top of Naruto, who got into a ready stance, and only had his hands on the hilts of his weapons. In a flash, Naruto draws both weapons and slash at both Jinchuriki, who blocked, but the power behind them had forced them back, much to their surprise. I don't take any pride in fighting my fellow Jinchuriki, said Naruto, getting Ei's and Yujito attention. Did he? Started Ei, who was using his metal arm bands to block Tadakatsu's weapon. Just say, muttered B. Fellow Jinchuriki, spoke Yujito. Summoning jutsu, shouted Naruto, and stabs the dragon blade into the ground. Earth dragon. The ground started to break apart as a large mass extracted itself from the very depths of the earth. Before both Kumo Jinchuriki now stands a massive dragon that seemingly was made of living stone. He is their summoner, Nibi stated with a little fear. You know what that thing is, asked Yujito, taking a step back. She battles summons before birds, rats, wolves, snakes, but never a dragon, let alone one that seemingly oozed earth type chakra. Yes, meet one of the elemental dragons that can fight the tailed beasts on even grounds. That bit of news made the feeling in Yujito's gut sink deeper, making her more uneasy. Earth dragon throat rumbled as its yellow eyes tracked both Jinchuriki, then gave out a ear-deafening roar that splits the very earth around it. That big lizard ant so tough, and every nose lighting zaps the rock every time, said B, and he throws 2 lighting chakra-imbued blades at the dragon's head, only to bounce off its rocky hide. That not possible, said Yujito. Normally lighting can cut the earth, mud, and stone, but most Doton are mostly a few cementous thick. Earth dragon's hide is much more thicker and infused with metals. You're going to need a lot more to pierce it, said Naruto. Land side, called Naruto. Do a one-handed seal as Earth dragon opened its mouth to spew a thick torrent of mud at both Jinchuriki. Both Yujito and B jump away from the oncoming mud that smashed thoughts several trees. Ho Yiha yelled B, causing a few to stare oddly at him. Time to head, but with this lizard and ant no one can beat the bull rat B. Being an unbully big dragon, he can beat that old bull rat Naruto. Much to B's delight, and thought it was a shame he had to kill him. That right, use Utenant's power and fall right into the trap, thought Naruto. In a hidden spot near the battle, Erla watched the ensuing fighting between the Western Empire and Kumo. Behind her, a complex steel array was having one last look over before being infused with chakra to prevent smudging when the Fuinjutsu is active. It wasn't hard to draw in Kumo, learning how gunho their Kage is to show off he may have battle prowess and able to inspire his troops, but without forethought, remarked Erla. Forethought? Asked the seal expert. The Reikage could have waited for his allies an extra day, could have tipped this battle in their favor with the combined might of IWA and Oto, who can easily breach the city walls using the snake summons and IWA Doton jutsus, as the Jinchuriki caused heavy losses to the city guard, explained Erla, and saw Raven and Hinata For such a large man that Reikage can sure move fast, said Raven little-winded. I thought he would have gotten us if Tadakatsu-san wasn't there, spoke Hinata looking at Erla. Tadakatsu is one of the more feared and respected samurai in the West, said Erla. If anyone can handle that brute, it's him. A large tornado of wind and lighting an area where Yai and Tadakatsu were fighting shot up to the sky. And Tadakatsu-san isn't pulling his punches today, commented Erla. You two know what to do, getting nods. Good, let's do this. By now the Kumo ninjas were already moving towards the city. Seeing this, Naruto gave a signal. Along the city walls rife men appeared as hidden ramparts in the ground opened to allow hordes of ninjas and samurais to charge out. On the wall stands Date Masamune, the one-eyed dragon Naruto knew to protect his empire and subjects. They needed to embrace new ways of thinking in both war and peace. The land of snow/spring had helped greatly. The West needed to develop their science and machines. The Date clan were renowned for their armories and workshops. Seeing as Masamune willingness to advance towards the future, he may not been granted the honor being one of the Shogun 4 warlords. Everyone go to him for the best swords and armor to newest machines to improve their way of living. Masamune had to nod at the Shogun's bravery and skill, being in the thick like a true warrior of honor. It is time to show that rabble the future of warfare and military might of the empire. Drawing his sword and one of his pistols, fire, yelled Masamune as gunpowder smoke and bangs followed. Samui saw many of her comrades knocked back by the unknown means, following a loud bang that repeated every time she saw her comrades fall. Others quickly catch on and began to throw jutsus and kunai at the city wall, blowing holes and hitting the men using those bang weapons, while at the same time fending off attacks from ninjas and samurais. Bang! Then Samui felt a burning pain shot through her body. Looking at her waist, looking down to find a large hole like wound at her side, her blood quickly staining her dress. Feeling faint, Samui dropped to her side. Everything is going dark, Samui muttered dimly. What if Naruto is banished and becomes a samurai? And thanks for watching my video till the end. If you enjoyed this content, then do consider subscribing to my channel. And leave a like if you guys need the next part. Comment down, and thanks for watching the video, and see you guys in the next video.